Chapter 2285. A lady at the back left snorted coldly. Who do you think you are? How dare you compare yourself to my young master? Is your young master very famous? The little girl curled her lips, looking very disdainful. Seeing this, all the kings were shocked, and their scalps went numb. Heavens, who is this? How can she not know young Master Baiyun? How dare she provoke him? Is she tired of living? Crack! As expected, young Master Baiyun's face darkened, and he closed the folding fan in his hand. Slap her, he said coldly. Whoosh! A maid beside him quickly flew out like a bolt of white lightning. At the same time, she raised her jade-like hand and slapped forward. This maidservant was a 5-star king realm, and a single palm strike from her could shatter a mountain, let alone a single person. For a moment, everyone was worried about the little girl. However, the little girl still stood there with the corners of her mouth slightly raised, and her face was full of disdain. The terrifying palm wind tore through the void, but it could not move the little girl's clothes at all. Whoosh! Ah! The next moment, before the slap landed, the maid screamed in pain. She covered her fair palm and kept retreating. What's going on? What happened? Everyone was stunned. They did not see the other party make a move. Could it be that the black-robed man made a move? They looked at each other. However, the next moment, they were extremely shocked. Because the maid's fair palm was now pitch black, and there were countless black sheets surrounding it. It spread from her arm to her entire body. Poison, she's poisoned! Everyone exclaimed. It was an obvious sign of poisoning. Young Master Baiyun frowned. The other 3 maids were also nervous. The poison maid shouted angrily, and the spiritual power in her body burst out like waves, trying to resist the poison. However, it was useless. In an instant, her entire arm was pitch black, and it began to rot, and white bones appeared. The pain caused the maid to scream miserably. Her voice was so miserable that it made one's scalp go numb. Another maid cried out, took out a sword from her storage ring, and slashed down, cutting off the blackened arm. Chi-chi! The arm fell to the ground with a sizzling sound, and all the flesh and blood were corroded, forming a black liquid. Soon, even the bones were corroded. Seeing this scene, everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. What a powerful poison! How did the other party do it? They didn't see it. The little girl snorted coldly. A small green snake was coiling around her earlobe. A piece of trash like you wants to slap me? He was truly courting death. Everyone was shocked speechless. Because they realized that this little girl was really too strange. However, some of the higher-ups could tell that it was the venomous snake on the little girl's ear that had attacked. This little girl was most likely a beast tamer, they guessed. However, no one spoke. They didn't want to provoke such a terrifying existence. At the front, young Master White Cloud frowned. Once he made a move, one of his maidservants would chop off an arm. This was definitely a slap to his face. Therefore, he snorted and killed her. Yes. The injured maidservant retreated and quickly swallowed a pill. The other 3 unsheathed their swords and worked together to attack. 1. The 3 swords were very fast. In an instant, they had arrived in front of the little girl and were about to pierce through her. Humph! The little girl sneered disdainfully. She snorted lightly, and a majestic force rushed out of her body. Her king's domain instantly rushed out. Boom! It was a green snake. It suddenly enlarged and directly broke all 3 swords. The huge force sent the 3 maidservants flying. This scene shocked the surrounding people once again. They didn't expect that this little girl was not only good at using poison, but she was also so powerful. The king's domain was obviously very terrifying. In an instant, it sent all 3 5-star kings flying. It seemed that she was at least a 6-star king. However, an 11 or 12-year-old 6-star king. Her talent was too terrifying. Could it be that she was an old demon who had lived for hundreds of years? They guessed. On the other hand, young Master White Cloud's face was completely gloomy. Little girl, get over here and kneel down, and I can spare your life. His voice was cold and carried a biting cold killing intent. Young Master White Cloud? In my opinion, you're just SOSO. The little girl had gained the upper hand with one move. Then, she activated her king's domain and charged forward. 1. The king's domain formed a green snake and charged forward. Boom! This green snake was very huge. It crushed the void, but no energy leaked out. Except for the space near young Master White Cloud, the other places were not damaged. Not even a table was damaged. One could imagine how precise the other party's control of power was. She was courting death. Young Master White Cloud was furious. The other party was just a little girl. How dare she attack him? The next moment, he waved his sleeve. With a boom, the sky split open, and a huge sleeve danced in the sky. It was as if it could devour everything. Flowing Cloud Sleeve. This was the White Cloud family's ultimate technique. Many people exclaimed because this flowing cloud sleeve could be said to be extremely terrifying. Boom! As expected, when the flowing cloud sleeve collided with the green snake, a deafening sound was heard. Many kings fell to the ground, their bodies trembling. The green snake wailed and was sent flying. Puff! Puff! The little girl kept retreating until she was outside the door. Then she spat out a mouthful of blood. You! She wiped the blood with her small hands. Her eyes were abnormally cold. You're overestimating yourself. You dare to attack me? Young Master White Cloud sneered in disdain. The flowing cloud sleeve in the sky attacked again. It was like a sharp heavenly blade that wanted to split the little girl in half. The little girl's expression was cold. Her hands quickly formed seals. A green snake head exploded from her palm and bit forward. Crack! 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 The python bit the flowing cloud sleeve in the sky and made a clanging sound. However, the flowing cloud sleeve shook and shattered the python head. The little girl spat out blood again. She was about to be enveloped by the flowing cloud sleeve. However, at this moment, the mysterious man in a black robe attacked. To be exact, he did not attack. Instead, he coughed twice. Cough! Cough! Boom! In the sky, the flowing cloud sleeve exploded and turned into countless rays of light that scattered on the ground. Gulp! Gulp! The surrounding people swallowed their saliva. This black-robed man was too terrifying. He shattered young Master White Cloud's divine ability with just a sound wave? Who was this person? Young Master White Cloud's pupils shrank. His eyes shone brightly. This move of his was something that even an almighty would not dare to take lightly. However, the other party had broken it. He could not believe it. Who are you? Young Master White Cloud did not attack again. Instead, he asked coldly, My monthly votes are over 150. If I add more chapters, can I break 200? Chapter 2286. Even a powerful being would not dare to block his attack, but the other party had broken through it. He could not believe it. Who are you? Young Master White Cloud didn't attack again. Instead, he asked coldly. Cough, cough. The black-robed woman coughed and said again. I'm just a villager. You won't know me even if I tell you. But I've been walking for a day and I'm tired. Young master, why don't you let me have your room? I'll pay you double for your room. Everyone was shocked to hear that. It seems like this mysterious person really wants young Master Bai Yun's residence. Young Master Bai Yun's face darkened and sneered. Old monster, you're asking for death. As he spoke, he attacked again. Flowing cloud sleeve poured down, and a ray of light fell like a heavenly blade. The void cracked open and the terrifying crack enveloped the black-robed woman. How terrifying! Is this the true power of the flowing cloud cultivator? When everyone saw this scene, they were extremely shocked. Because the power this time was twice as strong as before. It seems like young Master Bai Yun did not use his full strength previously. Humph! The black-robed woman snorted and the walking stick in her hand trembled slightly. Suddenly, a black ripple spread out like a ripple. The black ripple danced and formed a black light screen, blocking in front of her. Buzz! It blocked the terrifying flowing cloud sleeve. Boom, boom, boom! The two collided with each other, creating a loud explosion. The entire world was shaking. Countless runes lit up in Sky Treasure Pavilion, protecting all the buildings. The lady boss frowned and her eyes flickered. But she had no intention of stopping it. Humph! Young Master Bai Yun's face darkened when he saw that the other party could block the flowing cloud sleeve. But soon, he exploded with a bright light. The fan in his hand seemed to have turned into a mountain and pressed down. Even the surrounding powerful beings could feel the pressure from this attack. Clearly, this was an extremely terrifying attack that contained an unparalleled amount of power. Boom, boom, boom! The mysterious black-robed woman did not raise her head. But behind her, a spatial crack appeared. It grew bigger and bigger as if it was torn apart by a pair of big hands. Then, a ferocious behemoth poked its head out from inside. It looked like a butterfly with a horn that was covered with Dao runes. It was terrifying. It did not fully appear. Only a head appeared, but it filled up the entire space in the hall. Everyone was trembling, and the weaker ones were directly pressed to the ground, unable to resist at all. That was because the oppressive might was simply too terrifying. Soon, the horn blocked the huge folding fan in the sky. Not only that, countless black bugs appeared on the ground and flew towards young Master Bai Yun. These black bugs were very fast and covered the entire ground in an instant. It seemed to be able to devour everything. Young Master Bai Yun's face sank. With a wave of his hand, a terrifying light wave flew out and blocked the insects. At the same time, his expression became extremely ugly. Nan Jiang, you're from the Southern Border's 5 Poison Sect. What? 5 Poison Sect? Hearing this, the surrounding people also exclaimed. The Southern Border was a continent that coexisted with the Central Continent. They were very far apart. How could someone from the Southern Border come here? They could not understand. Young Master Bai Yun's face turned ugly. No wonder. No wonder the other party dared to disrespect him, and even attack him. It turned out that the other party was not from the Nine Li dynasty at all. In fact, they were not even from the Central Continent. The 11 or 12-year-old girl swallowed a few pills to suppress her injuries and then walked over. She stood beside the black-robed man and snorted coldly. What? You know who we are and you still don't want to give up the room? Humph. Young Master Bai Yun snorted coldly. So what if you are from the 5 Poison Sect? This is the Nine Li dynasty of the Central Continent, his territory. Could it be that he was afraid of the other party? We are the 5 poison bugs. Once touched, even an almighty will definitely die. You still dare to go against us? The girl sneered. The bugs on the ground were about to erupt again. At this moment, a clear voice sounded from outside. Amitabha. The voice was loud and carried with it the aura of light between heaven and earth. Then, a ball of golden light shone in from the outside like the sun. The terrifying poisonous bugs on the ground quickly retreated and melted like ice and snow. The surrounding people were shocked. Who was this expert? How could he be so powerful? He destroyed the poisonous bugs of the 5 Poison Sect in an instant. Who was that? How dare you interfere with the matters of the 5 Poison Sect? The girl snorted coldly, and her expression was very ugly. The black-robed man did not say anything, but the terrifying aura on his body became even more serious. Young Master Bai Yun heaved a sigh of relief. His gaze was uncertain as he looked forward. He was not the only one. Everyone turned their heads to look. A monk walked in from outside the door. He wore a kasaya and held a bowl in his hand that was covered with runes. He held a string of Buddhist prayer beads in his left hand. At this moment, he was chanting and walking towards the Heavenly Treasure Pavilion. A monk? Seeing this scene, the girl frowned and even took 2 steps back subconsciously. That was because the Buddhist light on the other party's body made her feel uncomfortable. Their 5 Poison Sect was a poisonous creature of extreme yin and evil, while the other party clearly had a masculine aura. The two of them countered each other, and the other party was very strong. Therefore, the girl from the 5 poison sect was very uncomfortable. However, the black-robed man did not change at all. He still stood there, and did not even turn his head. Why did the people of the 5 poison sect come all the way to the central continent? After the monk entered, he asked in a deep voice. The girl snorted coldly. Humph, aren't you from the western desert as well? Why did you come to the central continent? This poor monk travels the world and considers the world as his home. Why can't I come? After saying that, the monk ignored the people of the 5 poison sect and stared at young Master Bai Yun instead. I saved your life earlier. Are you going to give me your room? What? Another person who came to snatch the place? Hearing this, everyone was stunned. Young Master Bai Yun's face darkened again. He originally thought that the crisis had been resolved. However, he did not expect that another one would come. Furthermore, this person targeted him again. Damn it! Did they really think that he was easy to bully? Thinking of this, he roared angrily and a terrifying aura burst forth from his body. A white cloud surrounded him, and even his entire body became hazy, as if he could ride the wind and fly away at any moment. On the other side, the black-robed man kept emitting a cold aura. The monk held the Buddhist prayer beads in his hand and his body shone with a golden light like a sun. The auras of the 3 were extremely strong. Furthermore, when they clashed with each other, they formed an invisible field that made it difficult for everyone to breathe. Those who were weak fainted immediately. The lady boss also frowned. Seeing that the 3 of them were about to attack again, she wanted to stop this battle. However, at this moment, the door to the backyard suddenly opened. Then, a figure walked in. Chapter 2287. Just then, the door to the backyard suddenly opened and a figure walked in. Originally, the auras of the 3 sides had reached a balance, but because of this figure walking over, the balance was suddenly broken. Boom! The 3 forces collided in the air and a terrifying black hole appeared in the sky, spinning rapidly. Whoosh! Whoosh whoosh! Everyone turned to look at the back. They wanted to see who dared to come in at this time. Did he want to die? Lin Xian also frowned because he felt something was wrong as soon as he entered the hall. Especially the black hole in front of him, which was obviously caused by a battle. Also, many kings were lying on the ground. Could it be that there was a great battle just now? But soon, he shook his head. What did it have to do with him? So, he walked to the front and said, Lady Boss, make me some exquisite dishes and send them to the East Water Courtyard. Okay, young master, please wait. The lady boss smiled. Lin Xian nodded and turned to leave. Just then, young Master Bai Yun said coldly, Wait. Hearing that, Lin Xian stopped in his tracks and turned around to look at the other party with a doubtful look on his face. He did not know him, so he asked, You're looking for me? Yes, it's you. Kid, let me ask you, which sect are you from? Young Master Bai Yun asked coldly. Because he felt that young Master Bai Yun was a stranger. Those who could afford to live in the courtyard must be from a big family. For example, only people like him were qualified to live there. However, how could a stranger live there? So, he had to check his identity first. Lin Xian said lightly, I don't belong to any sect. I'm just an itinerant cultivator. What do you want? Don't belong to any sect? Everyone was shocked. The white-robed man squinted his eyes and sneered. Don't belong to any sect? Why do you live in the water courtyard? Kid, give it up! Young Master Bai Yun had his own plan. This western desert and southern border powerhouse wanted a place to live. He would not give it up. Why not take the kid's house and let the 2 powerhouses fight over it? Then, he would be able to escape easily. Everyone around understood this as well, so they looked at Lin Xian with sympathy in their eyes. This kid is too unlucky. He came at the wrong time. That's right, of all times he had to come at this time. He reckoned that if he was targeted by the 3 great powerhouses, his end would be very miserable. As long as he cooperated obediently, he might even receive a large sum of money. Many people stood up from the ground. Lin Xian frowned. Give up the room? Why, you want to stay? From the looks of it, the other party was probably trying to snatch his room. However, White Cloud Prince snorted coldly. I have my own residence. Lin Xian looked at him like he was an idiot. You have a place to live, yet you want to snatch my house? Was he sick in the head? He shook his head and ignored it. Then, he ordered again. Lady Boss, hurry up. I'm hungry. Hurry up and send the food to Dongshe Courtyard. With that, Lin Xian turned around and left. Brat, you're courting death. Young Master White Cloud's expression turned extremely gloomy when he saw that young Master White Cloud dared to ignore him and even berate him. He was the son of the great general. Who would dare to be rude to him? However, there were people provoking him one after another today. First, it was the Southern Border Powerhouse. Then, it was the Western Desert Powerhouse. He could not afford to offend these two mysterious powerhouses. However, this kid, who had no sect and was just a rogue cultivator, dared to provoke him. That would be courting death. Buzz. The next moment, he attacked again. Flowing cloud sleeves spun and poured down from the sky like the Milky Way. The surrounding kings exclaimed, Heavens, who is this brat? How dare he provoke young Master White Cloud? Does he not know who young Master White Cloud is? I think it's possible. It's over. This brat is dead meat. Flowing cloud sleeve continued to envelop Lin Xian as he spoke. Lin Xian turned around abruptly with a trace of coldness in his eyes. This brat wanted to attack him just because of a disagreement. He even wanted to kill him? Was he that easy to kill? The next moment, a terrifying blue aura appeared on his body. Crack, crack, crack. The sea god's eyes spread out and condensed in the sky, freezing flowing cloud sleeve in midair. It was so cold. The surrounding kings trembled as frost formed on their bodies. They all channeled their spiritual power to resist. Lin Xian's figure appeared in front of him. I'll spare your life this time. If you dare to attack again, don't blame me for killing you. Lin Xian turned around and looked at young Master White Cloud with a trace of murderous intent in his eyes. It was frozen. This brat actually froze flowing cloud sleeve. Who is he? He's so powerful. The crowd was in a heated discussion. They originally thought that Lin Xian would be killed, but they did not expect him to be a powerhouse. And by the looks of it, he was a young prodigy. That was interesting. What would young Master White Cloud do? Would he fight with Lin Xian or retreat again? They were actually looking forward to it. Young Master White Cloud's face darkened. He was so angry that he was about to vomit blood. He even suspected that he did not check the almanac before going out today. Why did he encounter so many terrifying powerhouses one after another? It was embarrassing. However, it was impossible to retreat now. He was young Master White Cloud, and this was the Nine Li dynasty. If he retreated now, he would probably become a joke in less than an hour. As a young prodigy and the young master of the White Cloud General's residence, his reputation was very important. Therefore, he could not retreat. However, among the three powerhouses, he realized that only Lin Xian was very young. He was from the younger generation. Although Lin Xian froze his flowing cloud sleeve, he knew that if he attacked with all his might, he could kill Lin Xian. More importantly, Lin Xian did not have any powerful background. Even if he killed Lin Xian, no one would take revenge. The four beautiful maids beside young Master White Cloud were enraged when they heard Lin Xian's threat. How dare you be so rude to our young master? Humph! Lin Xian snorted and glanced at them. The four of them were struck by lightning and were sent flying again while vomiting blood. Lin Xian did not leave. Instead, he stared at young Master White Cloud. He smirked coldly. Let me guess. Why do you want to snatch my house? Looking at you, you should be the young master of a very famous family. With your identity, you should have booked a very good house here. However, there are two powerhouses who seem to have designs on your house. And you can't defeat them. So, the black hole just now was created when you guys fought. I happen to be here at this time. You think I'm a pushover, so you want to take advantage of me. Although I don't know which family's young master you are, your ability to bully the weak and fear the strong is really good. Lin Xian sneered. Unfortunately, I'm not someone you can provoke. So, disappear in front of me obediently. Otherwise, you'll end up in a miserable state. Arrogant. So arrogant. How dare you threaten young Master White Cloud? Everyone was spitting. Even the powerhouses felt their scalps go numb. Chapter 2288. They realized that the young man in front of them was very smart. Not only did he figure out the whole thing, he even dared to threaten young Master Bai Yun. Who exactly was he? Was he really an itinerant cultivator? They did not believe it. They had never seen an itinerant cultivator so arrogant. Kid, you're courting death. Young Master Bai Yun was trembling with anger. His face was terrifyingly gloomy. The killing intent on his body quickly condensed and pierced through the void. However, Lin Xian ignored him. Instead, he shifted his gaze away from him and looked at the two figures at the door. One was a mysterious man in a black robe with a little girl beside him. The other was a monk with Buddhist prayer beads in his hand. The aura on their bodies was very strong. One look and one could tell that they were experts. Then, Lin Xian said coldly, "The two of you better not have any ideas about me. Otherwise, you'll have to bear the consequences." The surrounding kings were completely stunned. This brat was simply too arrogant. First, he provoked young Master Bai Yun. Now, he wanted to provoke the experts of Southern Border and Western Desert. What was he trying to do? Was he trying to declare war on everyone? The two experts were also taken aback. Then both of them laughed. "Is that so? But I still think that it's better to kill you. After all, you don't have any family behind you. Killing you won't be a burden. Monks don't want to kill, but I hope that you can cooperate and give up your East Water Courtyard." Hearing this, young Master Bai Yun laughed. He wanted to see how this kid would deal with it. At the thought of this, his lips curled into a cold smile. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. "What do you mean? Are the two of you going to attack me?" "Indeed, that was the intention," the black-robed man said in a low voice again. Whoosh! The voice condensed in the air. Before it landed, Lin Xian's figure had already disappeared. When he reappeared, he was in front of the black-robed man. The ancient sword in his hand slashed down. Boom! The black-robed man's pupils constricted, and he raised his head for the first time. He realized that Lin Xian was too fast. Before he could even react, Lin Xian had already attacked. The sword had not yet arrived, but the sharp aura had already caused all the hairs on his body to stand on end. Even the black aura on his body was cut open. Whoosh! The black-robed man quickly retreated, and countless black gas formed a black light shield in front of him. Boom! The Dragon Source ancient sword slashed down on the surface, emitting a sky-shaking sound. Puff! A single slash. The black shield was split in half. The sharp sword light flew out once again. The black-robed old man retreated until he was completely out of the heavenly treasure pavilion. Only then did he manage to block the sword light. The mysterious man was repelled. When everyone saw this scene, they were extremely shocked. This mysterious person was extremely terrifying. Previously, when he fought with young Master Bai Yun, he did not even move an inch. But now, he was scared off by a single slash from the young man before him. This was simply too shocking. However, what shocked them even more was yet to come. This was because Lin Xian had repelled the black-robed man with a single slash of his sword. Following which, he swept his sword horizontally and slashed at the monk beside him. Since these two people wanted to make a move on him, he had to gain the initiative by striking first and intimidate these two powerhouses. Seeing Lin Xian attack him, the Western Desert cultivator roared in anger. His eyes shone brightly as his aura suddenly erupted. A golden Buddhist light rushed out from his body. Boom! In the next moment, it collided with the terrifying sword Qi. When the two collided, Countless cracks appeared in the void as if black snakes were dancing in the air. Many people retreated one after another, as their hearts turned cold. Humph! The Western Desert cultivator roared and raised his palm to grab Lin Xian. Golden light flickered in his palm as if it was the palm of a Buddha. Lin Xian snorted coldly. The great dragon sword soul erupted and an even more terrifying sword chi was slashed out. Clang! Another earth-shattering sound was heard. However, this time, the Western Desert cultivator's expression changed because the golden light in his hand was cut open. Not only that, there was a sword mark on his palm that was dripping with blood. It was extremely terrifying. Damn it! How was this possible? The Western Desert cultivator was extremely shocked and could not believe it. That was because he had cultivated a very terrifying physical technique called the Vajrabhati technique. It was a powerful divine ability of the Buddhist sect. With his current cultivation and divine ability, he could fight against an upper-grade earth-rank treasure with his bare hands. But now, he was actually injured. This really shocked him. What kind of sword was that in his opponent's hand? Also, why was his opponent's sword chi so terrifying? Was he really just a young man? He did not dare to imagine. Therefore, in the next moment, he also retreated out of the Sky Treasure Pavilion. Humph! Seeing that both of them had retreated, Lin Xian snorted coldly, and put away the ancient dragon abyss sword. He stood with his hands behind his back and looked around disdainfully. Now, who else dares to have any ideas about me? A cold voice sounded and everyone's scalps went numb. They did not even dare to raise their heads. What kind of joke was this? Two powerful cultivators had been forced back by two swords. This kind of strength was heaven-defying. Who would be so blind to provoke him at this time? That was purely courting death. What about the two of you? Lin Xian looked at the two people outside the door again. These two people's expressions were extremely unsightly. But soon after, the two of them sighed. I think young Master Bai Yun's room is easier to take. Haha, this old woman is also very interested in young Master Bai Yun's courtyard. The two of them gave up on Lin Xian and turned to stare at young Master Bai Yun. Because the young man in front of them was too strange. Although they did not use their full strength previously, from the previous exchange of blows, the other party was very terrifying. Even if they really fought, both of them would only suffer. Moreover, they were not willing to risk their lives. Young Master Bai Yun's face instantly turned black. Originally, he wanted to watch a good show and see how the three of them would fight. If the three of them were seriously injured, he did not mind giving them a final blow at the last moment. However, the current situation was completely out of his expectations. The three of them did not fight at all. Two swords and two powerful cultivators were forced back. He did not dare to believe it. Damn it, who is this kid? Now, even if you beat him to death, he would not believe that the other party was just a rogue cultivator. In his opinion, the other party's origin must be very mysterious. It was very likely that he was one of those peerless sacred grounds, or an outstanding disciple of a peerless sect. Otherwise, the other party would not be so strong. When he heard that the two powerful cultivators had their eyes on him again, young Master Bai Yun was furious. Damn kid, it's all your fault. It's all your fault. Young Master Bai Yun's expression was ferocious as he stared at Lin Xian. It was all because of this kid that he had been humiliated. Therefore, he could not wait to kill this kid in front of him. Feeling the other party's aura, Lin Xian frowned. Since this is the case, I'll get rid of you first. Chapter 2289. Now, his cultivation had reached the level of a 7-star king, and his combat strength was at the level of an almighty. Therefore, he did not have to worry too much about doing things. He did not mind killing anyone who dared to provoke him, and wanted to kill him. Because he would not allow danger to sprout. Although this person looked like he was from a big family, he would not be lenient since he dared to release his killing intent toward him. So what if he was from a big family? He even dared to kill the geniuses of the war tribe, let alone an ordinary family. Therefore, in the next moment, Lin Xian attacked again. Boom! The terrifying hellfire on his body turned into a black qilin, surrounded by a terrifying aura. It jumped up and charged toward young Master White Cloud. Kid, you're courting death. Young Master White Cloud was furious, and his face was extremely cold. He did not expect that the other party would dare to attack and kill him. This was intolerable. Therefore, he roared in the next moment, and light burst out from his body. His body became incomparably illusory, like a white cloud that would dissipate at any time. At the same time, wisps of white fog appeared around him, as if the entire hall had sunk into the clouds. Not good, retreat! When the surrounding kings saw this, they were terrified and frantically retreated. Boom! The black hellfire qilin charged forward, burning everything. However, young Master White Cloud's body had already disappeared. A ferocious voice sounded in the surroundings. Kid, you want to kill me? You're still far from it. I'll let you know my true strength. Now that you're in my White Cloud realm, accept your death obediently. As the voice sounded, the surrounding white clouds suddenly rolled and pressed toward the hellfire qilin. Boom! The hellfire qilin turned into countless hellfire and scattered on the ground. More white clouds charged toward Lin Xian. At the same time, countless white clouds gathered behind Lin Xian, and young Master White Cloud's figure appeared eerily. Buzz! A green longsword appeared in his hand, and as he waved it, there was a metallic sound. Accompanying it was an intense energy that could shake the heavens. It instantly enveloped Lin Xian. Boom! Lin Xian snorted coldly, and a shocking light burst out from his eyes. The dragon sword realm also appeared from his body and turned into an azure dragon divine shield. Clang! The terrifying longsword collided with the azure dragon divine shield, causing sparks to fly and a deafening sound to ring out. The surrounding void was torn apart. At the same time, countless runes lit up in the heavenly treasure pavilion, causing the entire pavilion to shake. The lady boss's face darkened. Young Master Baiyun also knew that he couldn't do anything here. He sneered and said, Kid, come with me! As he spoke, the white cloud domain enveloped Lin Xian and himself, and they flew outside. The two of them finally arrived in the sky above the city. White clouds rolled above them, and two silhouettes flickered within them. Terrifying energy and vibrations could be heard from time to time. The kings of the Sky Treasure Pavilion also followed him out. They looked at the sky and discussed animatedly. The monks from the western desert, and the black-robed men from the southern frontier also looked up at the sky with sparkling eyes. The two of them did not make a move. In the sky, the battle was extremely intense. The strength of the two young geniuses was extremely frightening. Especially young Master Baiyun, who let out a furious roar as his body emitted an incomparable radiance. The surrounding white cloudling was erratic, causing his figure to appear and disappear mysteriously. He believed that with his strength and his white jade domain, it would be very easy for him to kill the other party. Buzz! As expected, with the unpredictable speed of the white cloud domain, young Master Baiyun appeared beside Lin Xian in an instant. His right hand was hazy and illusory, and white runes shone on it. Firmament palm. This palm was extremely shocking. It was clearly just a palm, but what it emitted was endless clouds that covered the entire sky. Oh no, this firmament palm was also young Master Baiyun's ultimate skill. Now that he had used his full strength, the kid would definitely not be able to resist. Yes, young Master Baiyun was extremely frightening. Coupled with his king domain, even the almighties of the older generation would not be his match. Below, those who were looking at the battle discussed animatedly. The eyes of the experts from the western desert and southern frontier flickered. In the clouds, Lin Xian snorted. Buzz! He pulled out the ancient dragon abyss sword, and the biting cold sword light lit up the entire sky. Tens of thousands of swords rang in unison, and countless sword chi pierced through the white cloud domain. Buzz! 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 The sky was filled with light, and a terrifying killing intent pierced through the void. Sensing this, all the princes below began to tremble, and their eyes were filled with fear. At this moment, Lin Xian waved his ancient sword, and tens of thousands of sword chi slashed down together with the ancient sword. Boom! Countless sword chi instantly split open the white cloud domain, and quickly enveloped young Master Bai Yun. What? This is impossible! Young Master Bai Yun was in disbelief. Lin Xian actually split open his domain with a single sword? He broke through his firmament palm? Impossible! Even the almighties of the older generation could not do it easily, so how could Lin Xian do it? Young Master Bai Yun was in disbelief. However, the aura emitted by the sword light in the sky made his body tremble. Even his muscles were torn, and countless wounds appeared. Damn it! Young Master Bai Yun's face changed, and he did not dare to resist. He turned into countless white clouds and merged into the void, trying to escape the attack of the sword chi. However, he could not escape. At this moment, the sky was filled with sword chi, and countless sword lights were extremely sharp. These sword chi contained the power of the great dragon sword soul, and it could pierce through the void and destroy the void. Therefore, even though young Master White Cloud's body movement technique was strange and unpredictable, he was still able to come and go like a ghost. But he was still injured. 73 sword wounds appeared on his body in an instant, and blood instantly dyed his body red. What? Young Master Bai Yun was injured. Down below, the kings were extremely shocked when they saw this scene. They didn't dare to believe it at all. That was young Master Bai Yun. It was incomparably terrifying. Furthermore, the other party's white cloud domain, coupled with that strange movement technique, even if he couldn't win, it wouldn't be a problem for him to escape. But what was the situation now? Young Master White Cloud had already merged into the void, but he was still injured by someone. Moreover, it was a serious injury. They couldn't believe it. Ah! Young Master White Cloud was also screaming crazily with a hideous expression on his face. Damn brat, you dare to hurt me? I'll kill you! He roared crazily. However, in the next moment, he was sent flying. A sword chi as heavy as a mountain sent him flying. Young Master White Cloud flew out for 3,000 meters, smashing through countless voids and creating countless cracks. Only then did he stop. His injuries had become even more serious. Blood dripped down, piercing through the void, dyeing the great earth red. At this moment, not only the people of Sky Treasure Pavilion, but the entire Qianshan city was alarmed. Countless gazes raised one after another and looked forward. Then, they were almost stunned. Heavens, who was that? Someone was actually fighting. Wasn't that young Master White Cloud? What, young Master White Cloud? Are you saying that young Master White Cloud from White Cloud Mansion is here? However, how did he get injured by someone? For a moment, countless people were discussing. Chapter 2290. In the sky, young Master Bai Yun's scalp went numb. He did not dare to say anything else and turned around to escape. The other party was a lunatic. Moreover, he was very powerful and was not afraid of any threat. If he stayed any longer, he would probably be killed by the other party. Therefore, he escaped. Young Master Bai Yun took out elixirs from his storage ring and swallowed them to heal his injuries as he ran away like a madman. Trying to escape? Lin Xian sneered. He stood in the sky and clenched his fists. Golden Dao patterns appeared in his eyes. Buzz! A green dragon bow appeared in his hand. Buzz! An arrow flew out and drew a bright light in the sky. Then, it hit young Master Bai Yun hard. Boom! There was an explosion of energy. Young Master Bai Yun spat out blood. His white shirt was torn, revealing the armor underneath. Damn it! Young Master Bai Yun's face was extremely ugly. He had already escaped, but the other party was still not letting him go. Damn it! He swore that he would kill the other party when he escaped. In the next moment, he changed his direction and ran toward the city governor's residence. He wanted to call for help. He was the young master of General Bai Yun's uniform. Therefore, he naturally knew the people in the general's residence. As long as he entered the residence, the city governor's residence would definitely save him. Buzz! However, before he could run a few steps, another shocking arrow flew from behind and hit him again. He spat out a mouthful of blood, and cracks instantly appeared on his armor. Damn it! Save me! I am young Master Bai Yun. If you kill me, you will become the White Cloud Residence's enemy. You will go against the Nine Li dynasty. You are dead! Young Master Bai Yun roared madly. At the same time, he wanted to alert the people from the city governor's residence. At that moment, all the martial artists in Xianshan's city looked up at the sky. Someone was chasing after young Master Bai Yun. Was this real? Why did it feel like a dream? However, young Master Bai Yun's roar was effective. A few figures rushed out from the city governor's residence below. I am young Master Bai Yun. Save me! These people immediately came in front of young Master Bai Yun and protected him. One of the middle-aged men shouted coldly. Who dares to attack young Master Bai Yun? Do you want to die? Boom! As soon as he finished speaking, his body was hit by an arrow. Then, his body was smashed into a bloody mist. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. Who was this person? He was too terrifying. He even dared to kill someone from the city lord's mansion? Moreover, there was no hesitation at all. Everyone was extremely shocked. The few martial artists from the city lord's mansion felt their scalps go numb. Let's go, let's go! He was a madman. Young Master White Cloud was also frantically urging him. He could tell that the other party did not care about their identities at all. This kind of person was the most terrifying. Therefore, the group of them flew down. However, they had only flown halfway when a ray of light blocked their path. The light exploded, turning into countless black holes, blocking their path. 1. Buzz! 7 arrows quickly flew over from the sky. Lin Xian's divine strength was unparalleled. He continuously drew his bow, and every arrow contained the aura of the great dragon sword spirit. It was extremely sharp. Therefore, those martial artists could not contend at all. Boom! Boom! One king after another exploded, leaving behind only young Master White Cloud, who was bitterly holding on. Not only that, he also took out 3 white shields and a golden pagoda to protect her. However, it was useless. Amidst the energy that filled the sky, they exploded. Save me! Young Master White Cloud went crazy. He burned his spiritual energy at all costs and flew down frantically. Swoosh! 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 More than 10 figures rushed out from below. These figures had extremely powerful auras, and there were even top-notch almighties among them. That's great! Seeing this, young Master White Cloud heaved a sigh of relief, and a smile appeared on his face. He knew that he was saved. The appearance of these people could definitely save him. However, in the next moment, his pupils shrank as he realized that a sharp arrow had suddenly appeared behind him. Boom! A terrifying ray of light exploded and enveloped him. Ah! No! With a scream, the King Almighties who rushed up roared crazily. Damn it! Attack! They launched terrifying attacks, tearing apart the energy storm that filled the sky. Then, they were all stunned. Young Master White Cloud was nailed in the sky by an arrow. Avenge me! Young Master White Cloud said a few words with difficulty. His neck tilted, and he stopped breathing. This arrow had directly destroyed all of his vitality. Damn it! Who is it? Who is it? These people roared crazily, and their gazes were like divine lamps that pierced through the void. Soon, they saw a figure standing in the distance, and the longbow in his hand had not disappeared. It's him! Kill him! The top-notch Almighty waved his hand, and more than 10 figures rushed over quickly. They were rushing toward Lin Xian. Everyone's eyes followed him closely. Lin Xian looked at this scene, snorted coldly, and attacked again. More than 10 arrows flew out. Boom! 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 Dozens of King Almighties exploded instantly, and none of them could escape. Damn it! Seeing this scene, the top-notch Almighty was scared out of his wits. He realized that the other party was definitely a terrifying demon king. He did not dare to fight head-on and was about to return to the city lord mansion to call for help. However, he was also pierced through by an arrow. How is this possible? I'm a top-notch almighty. The top-notch almighty widened his eyes in disbelief. He was a top-notch almighty, and his strength was asking for a beating. How could the other party kill him with one arrow? Could it be that the other party was a peerless almighty? He did not dare to imagine, but in the next moment he lost his life. The entire Qianshan city was extremely huge, and there were countless martial artists, but at this moment, no one made a sound. That was because the previous scene had stunned them. Dozens of king almighties, top-notch almighties, and the extremely influential young master Bai Yun were all killed. None of them could escape. Who is this person? He's too terrifying. Who is he? For a moment, countless people looked into the distance. However, in the next moment, their eyes blurred because the fiend-like figure standing in the sky disappeared. Whoosh! At the entrance of the Sky Treasure Pavilion, everyone was shocked, and their eyelids twitched. That was because Lin Xian had fallen to the ground. Everyone automatically spread out to make way for him, and some even trembled. The Western Desert Monk and the black-robed man from Southern Border were also silent. The muscles on their faces stiffened because what the other party had done was beyond their expectations. They could not believe it. Is he really just a young man? Only a peerless almighty can do that. The two of them were also extremely shocked. They looked at Lin Xian in horror. Lin Xian ignored these people and strode into the Sky Treasure Pavilion. Then, he said again, "Lady Boss, send the dishes to my East Water Courtyard. The monthly votes are 169. Can I hit 200 votes? Those who have votes, hurry up and vote. I want monthly votes and recommendation votes." Chapter 2291. Lin Xian ignored them and walked into the Sky Treasure Pavilion. Then, he said, "Lady Boss, send the dishes to my East Water Courtyard." "All right, young master." The Lady Boss smiled. Her mood was not affected by what had just happened. Lin Xian left, but the entire Qianshan city was in an uproar. Especially the people from the Sky Treasure Pavilion. They fled frantically and spread the news. Because they were the main witnesses. In an instant, the entire Qianshan city knew that a peerless demon was living in the Sky Treasure Pavilion. He was so terrifying that he even dared to kill young Master Bai Yun and the people from the city governor's mansion. It could be said that no one dared to provoke him. However, ordinary kings did not dare to provoke him, but the city governor's mansion was furious. Young Master Bai Yun was killed in their territory. They could not believe it. One had to know that he was the young master of the White Cloud Mansion, the son of General Bai Yun. General Bai Yun was at the peak of his power in the Nine Li dynasty. Whoever killed his son would be committing a heinous crime. No one would be able to escape from him. Oh no, something big has happened. Hurry up and capture that person. I will personally send him to the White Cloud Mansion. The city governor of Qianshan City ordered. Buzz. Soon, 5 top almighties from the city governor's mansion moved out. At the same time, there were 10 elite almighties. 15 powerful figures instantly disappeared into the sky like shooting stars. Sky Treasure Pavilion, East Water Courtyard. Not long after Lin Xian returned, Murong Qingqing also woke up. Soon, a maid served exquisite dishes and spiritual wine. The two of them chatted as they ate, and the atmosphere was very warm. However, halfway through the meal, a powerful aura suddenly enveloped the entire Sky Treasure Pavilion. More than 10 figures descended upon the heavenly treasure pavilion like demons and gods, causing the space below to distort due to the pressure. What happened? In an instant, all the martial artists in the Sky Treasure Pavilion trembled. Countless people in Qianshan City looked over. Damn brat, come out! How dare you kill young Master Bai Yun? Today is the day you die! A cold voice was heard, causing everyone's scalp to tingle. What? The experts from the city governor's mansion are here! They came so quickly! That brat is definitely dead. That's right, he dared to kill young Master Baiyun for the sake of satisfaction, but his end would be miserable. There was no place for him in the entire Ninli dynasty. He was too young, showing off his bravado, and did not know how to make long-term calculations. Many older generation figures shook their heads and sighed. There were also people who sneered, thinking that the other party was too arrogant. A rogue cultivator dared to challenge the White Cloud Mansion. What a reckless man! In the eastern water courtyard, Murong Qingqing was puzzled. What had happened? Lin Xian, on the other hand, frowned. It's fine. A few people who didn't know what was good for them came looking for trouble with me, so I chopped them into pieces. Are they from the Tai dynasty? Murong Qingqing was a little nervous. If the army of the Tai dynasty came, Lin Xian would be in danger. Lin Xian smiled. No, it's just the city lord's mansion. He ruffled Murong Qingqing's hair and smiled. You eat first, I'll go out and get rid of these flies. Whoosh! In the next moment, he disappeared into the void. Each of the 15 figures was extremely powerful. They stood in the void, causing everyone to hold their breaths and tremble. The lady boss of Sky Treasure Pavilion's face darkened. Just as she was about to do something, a bolt of lightning flashed across the void and appeared in the sky. What? It's that kid! How dare he come out? If I were him, I would have run away immediately. What an idiotic kid! Let's see how he'll die this time. Not necessarily. That guy is a top prodigy and is extremely powerful. He might create a miracle. What kind of miracle can he create? That's 5 top grand cultivators and 10 elite grand cultivators. Unless he's a peerless grand cultivator, there's no way he can survive. Do you think a young man in his 20s can be a peerless grand cultivator? Who do you think he is? A prince of the dynasty or a saint of a sacred ground? The monk from the western desert and the black-robed man from southern border also appeared. The two of them looked up at the void with deep eyes. Can that kid fight against them? The two of them whispered to themselves. In the sky, 15 godlike figures instantly locked onto Lin Xian. You're the murderer? The green-robed old man in the lead asked coldly. Lin Xian looked at them and sneered. Are you here to die? You're courting death. The green-robed old man roared. His eyes instantly turned into 2 green moons, emitting a terrifying light. Buzz! 2 green eyes flew out and slashed towards Lin Xian. Buzz! In the sky, a green crescent moon appeared. Like a treasure wheel, it came crashing down. The void was sliced into 2 in an instant. How terrifying! That was the Green Moon monarch of the City Lord Mansion. He was a top grand cultivator. That was the Green Moon Divine Eye. Legend had it that it could destroy everything. Below, in Xiansan City, all the martial artists were discussing. Countless cracks appeared in the space around Lin Xian in an instant. The terrifying energy was able to crush everything. Lin Xian frowned and snorted. The dragon sword's spiritual domain turned into a green dragon and waved its tail in the sky. Then, the sky shone like thousands of sword chi. It was so bright that people couldn't open their eyes. Boom! Dragon? That was a dragon! Countless people exclaimed. However, the pupils of the older generation experts also shrank. No, that's not a dragon. That's his domain. Heavens, he actually used a dragon as his domain. Where did this kid come from? As soon as the dragon sword's spiritual domain appeared, it looked like it was looking down on the world. He turned into a terrifying giant sword and scattered from the sky. Boom! An earth-shattering sound was heard. The green moon was cut in half. Looking at this scene, the 15 experts in the sky changed their expressions. What kind of combat power is that? Is this kid even more powerful than a top grand cultivator? Who is he? They couldn't figure it out. On the other side, Lin Xian stood in the void like a dragon god. There was a giant dragon coiled around his body. Whoosh! With a flash, Lin Xian stepped on the dragon's shadow and rushed over. Buzz! His palm reached out and grabbed downwards. Like a ferocious dragon head, It swallowed the old man in green. Damn it! Get lost! The old man in green roared. The green light in his eyes burst out and turned into a ray of divine light that slashed over. Countless rays of red light bombarded the azure dragon hand, making a clanging sound. However, it couldn't be damaged at all. This azure dragon hand contained countless sword chi. It was very hard and sharp. In an instant, it grabbed the old man in green. Boom! Lin Xian waved his arm, grabbed the old man in green, and blasted him into the void. With a boom, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. A black hole appeared in the void. Countless cracks spread out like a black river. The old man in green seemed to have been struck by lightning. More than half of the bones in his body were broken. He vomited a large mouthful of blood and was seriously injured. Ah, damn kid! How dare you hurt me? I'm going to kill you! The old man in green was caught and roared crazily. The other 14 people also quickly took action. They worked together to kill him. Chapter 2292. The 14 powerhouses quickly charged over. In an instant, they appeared in all directions around Lin Xian. Kill! With a furious roar, a terrifying divine ability bloomed in the sky. In an instant, the place where Lin Xian was completely submerged. Was it over? Below, all the martial artists looked at the sky in shock. Under such a powerful attack, even a pinnacle powerhouse couldn't survive, let alone a young kid. Boom! However, just as they finished speaking, an earth-shattering sound was heard. Immediately after, a sword light that was 10,000 meters long descended from the sky and slashed all the energy storms apart. Then, Lin Xian walked out. What? He came out. How was that possible? He was actually unharmed. These people were stunned. The 14 top powerhouses were actually unable to cause any harm to him. Who was he? Everyone couldn't believe it. What made them even more shocked was that Lin Xian was holding a head in his hand. Heavens, was that the head of the Green Moon Monarch? A pinnacle powerhouse was actually killed mercilessly in the hands of the other party without any ability to fight back at all. The other party's strength had definitely surpassed that of a pinnacle powerhouse. In the surroundings, the 14 top powerhouses were also extremely shocked. Damn it, impossible! Chain attack! Kill him! Don't hold back! Boom! Boom! In an instant, the divine abilities that filled the sky appeared again and enveloped Lin Xian. The sky was instantly blasted apart. Nothing could be left behind. In the sky, a huge light wave spread out in all directions. The martial artists in the city were directly pressed to the ground by the energy. Buzz! Lin Xian pulled out the ancient dragon abyss sword and swung it, using the chaotic sky destroyer sword. Boom! 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 Terrifying sword chi swept out and repelled the 14 powerhouses. Then, he used Sky Destroyer, Battle Song, and Demonic Madness. It enveloped the front. Poof! The bodies of the 3 elite almighties exploded. 6 elite powerhouses were severely injured. The rest were terrified and frantically retreated. Demon! He was a demon! Everyone was shocked. The other party was too powerful, so powerful that it made them despair. However, this only confirmed their suspicions. They must kill this kid. Swoosh! 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 The 4 pinnacle almighties roared angrily. They quickly swallowed the purple pills, and the energy in their bodies suddenly erupted. The remaining elite and powerful beings joined hands to form a formation. Like the Milky Way, they rushed over. Raging waves! One of the pinnacle mighty beings had long hair fluttering in the wind as he raised the saber in his hands and slashed out. That shocking saber light was like a wave, erupting with an incomparable roar, swallowing mountains and rivers. Another top-tier being appeared behind Lin Xian. He waved his hand, and a terrifying heaven-devouring rat appeared. It could devour the entire sky. Gold Peak. To the left of Lin Xian, a pinnacle mighty figure appeared. He held a golden pagoda in his hand and quickly activated it. In an instant, 7 golden mountains appeared in the sky and came crashing down. Each of them was like an ancient demonic mountain, incomparably heavy. To the right of Lin Xian, an old man in a golden robe appeared. Golden flames burned all over his body, and the terrifying temperature caused the entire space to distort. Golden ripple! The old man waved his hand, and golden light danced, turning into a golden lotus that charged towards Lin Xian. The 4 pinnacle experts instantly appeared around Lin Xian. They used their most powerful killing moves. The surrounding elite almighties quickly formed a formation, forming a terrifying formation. In the sky, a river of stars flickered with dreamy runes. It pressed down and completely enveloped Lin Xian. This was their strongest attack. If they worked together, they could kill each other. Unfortunately, they had found the wrong opponent. The 3 killer moves of heaven crushing appeared and attacked the pinnacle mighty beings behind and to the left and right. At the same time, a golden rune appeared in Lin Xian's eyes. The pinnacle mighty being in front of him stiffened, and his eyes went blank. Boom, boom, boom! 4 pinnacle mighty beings were killed in an instant. Buzz! The dragon sword domain turned into a divine dragon again and roared ferociously. The dragon swung its tail and tore apart the river of stars above its head. Those elite mighty beings vomited blood and were sent flying. On Lin Xian's fingertip, the hell ice lotus rapidly expanded. A terrifying energy enveloped everyone. Boom, 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 boom. Violent vibrations sounded, and energy surged all over the sky. When everything disappeared, there was nothing left. Only Lin Xian stood on the spot like a god fiend. They were all killed. Everyone was stunned. 15 peerless experts couldn't do anything to the other party. They didn't dare to imagine. For a moment, the entire Qianshan city was silent. Lin Xian's figure flashed and returned to the east water courtyard. Next, Qianshan city fell into a great shock again. Countless people discussed crazily and made guesses. All kinds of rumors were spreading. At the same time, those powerful families were investigating the other party's identity. The city lord's mansion fell into a solemn atmosphere. They were extremely shocked. They didn't expect the person they were dealing with to be so terrifying. From the looks of it, he should be a peerless mighty being. Therefore, they didn't plan to interfere. They quickly sent the news to the White Cloud Mansion and let them capture him themselves. After all, a peerless mighty being was a true powerhouse who could suppress a region. Unless they sent a true peerless mighty being, it would be useless no matter how many ordinary mighty beings they sent. Therefore, the city lord's mansion didn't make a move again. After the warriors of Qianshan City discovered this change, they were even more shocked. What's going on? Has the city lord's mansion regressed? Could it be that this young man was so terrifying? They couldn't believe it. As time passed, they finally stopped talking about Lin Xian. Instead, they began to talk about something else. A woman, Yan Ryu. Because tomorrow was the day when Yan Ryu would arrive, and it was also young Master Qian San's birthday. At that time, powerhouses would gather, and geniuses would be as dazzling as the stars. It would definitely be a grand banquet. The next day, as soon as the sun rose, the Moonflower Palace became lively. War chariots stopped at the door, and the ones pulling the chariots were all terrifying monster kings. However, at this moment, they were sitting there very docilely. Pirates must die, figures walked down from the war chariots. Some were mighty and extraordinary, some were graceful, some were young and energetic, and some were old and vigorous. In short, there were all kinds of people. However, without exception, they were all powerhouses and had incomparably noble statuses. In the sky, countless divine red streaks streaked across and then stopped. Spirit boats appeared one after another, and tens of thousands of rays of light shone down. Countless figures descended. On the other hand, immortal cranes danced. The huge immortal cranes were 1,000 meters long. When they spread their wings, they brought up clouds and mist that filled the sky as if they were riding the wind and breaking the waves. On the other side, the sky roared like dark clouds rolling over. It was an extremely black flood dragon. It bared its fangs and brandished its claws. The scales all over its body flickered with a black light. As soon as it appeared, it suppressed the world. A few figures walked down from the black flood dragon. Chapter 2293. 5-colored auspicious clouds, golden divine boats, all kinds of birds and beasts, powerful chariots, and spirit boats gathered at the Moonflower Palace. Countless figures walked in. This was a grand occasion. Heavenly Treasure Pavilion, East Water Courtyard. Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing held hands and left the courtyard. They walked towards the Moonflower Palace. Today, they were going to participate as well. At this moment, the Moonflower Castle was a boiling cauldron of voices. Heads were moving about, forming a dark mass. Fortunately, the Moonflower Palace was big enough to accommodate tens of millions of people without feeling crowded. At the entrance, the warriors of the city lord's mansion were wearing armor and maintaining order. The cultivators discussed animatedly. They were extremely excited. However, at this moment, a commotion came from behind. A young man walked over in large strides. He was bare-chested and extremely vigorous. His muscles were like dragons, and his black hair fluttered in the wind. He carried a sense of arrogance. Su Hao, I didn't expect him to come too. What? Is he Su Hao, the skyscraper? He was very famous among the younger generation. Who else could it be other than him? Everyone discussed animatedly. The black-haired young man looked disdainfully and ignored everyone. He walked in with large strides. Whoosh! After Su Hao, there were exclamations of surprise. A few young men in white carried long swords on their backs. They flew in the air and looked very confident. People from the 6th Prince's mansion. They actually came too. I wonder if the young prince has arrived? Everyone exclaimed and made way for them. These young men in white had smiles on their faces. They were very confident as they flew into the main hall. Buzz, buzz, buzz. The ground trembled slightly as if 10,000 horses were galloping. It made people's scalps tingle. Then, they turned their heads and looked behind them. 3 silhouettes walked over. They were tall and sturdy, and their faces were cold and stern. There was no expression on their faces. With every step they took, the ground trembled. One could imagine how terrifying these 3 people were. They were the 3 young masters of the Ting family. The 3 of them could be said to be peerless prodigies. How many prodigies had come this time? Everyone exclaimed and felt dizzy. But soon, many people trembled and retreated frantically. This caused a vacuum to appear in the originally crowded place. Humph! When the 3 young masters of the Ting family saw this scene, they smiled with satisfaction. But soon they were stunned. Because they realized that these people's reverence was not directed at them. Could it be that someone else was coming? In the next moment, the 3 of them stopped in their tracks and turned around to look. 2 silhouettes appeared behind him. It was a very handsome young man in a red robe. Beside him was a woman in purple. She was wearing a veil, so her true appearance could not be seen clearly. However, just by her disposition, one could tell that she was a peerless beauty. The 2 of them walked side by side, hand in hand, like a pair of celestial children. They did not emit any terrifying auras, but the surrounding kings trembled as they looked at each other, their faces pale. Seeing this scene, the 3 young masters of the Ting clan frowned. Where did these 2 people come from? Why were they so frightening? They did not know what had happened 2 days ago, nor did they know that Lin Xian had killed 15 peerless experts. He even killed young Master White Cloud in a domineering manner. If they had known, they wouldn't have taken action. He had never seen this unfamiliar-looking kid before. He should be someone who had just started roaming the Jianghu. Which clan is he from? The eldest young master of the Ting clan narrowed his eyes, while the second young master of the Ting clan smiled evilly. Who cares which clan he's from? The woman beside him is really a beauty. I haven't seen such a beautiful woman in a long time. I must get my hands on her. Second brother, don't act rashly. Judging from the expressions of the surrounding people, he's definitely not simple. So what? The second young master of the Ting clan laughed. Is he more powerful than the three of us? Don't worry, big brother. That's right, big brother. The third young master of the Ting clan also laughed. At most, we'll investigate his identity first, then think of a way to make a move. If we can't get this beauty, second brother won't be able to sleep tonight. The three of them discussed. The second young master's eyes shone brightly as he stared at Murong Qingqing. All the people around were also looking at Murong Qingqing, because she was just too beautiful. It was even to the extent that they suspected that the other party was the legendary beauty, Yenryu. However, they knew that she was not Yenryu. This was because Yenryu would not walk together with Lin Xian. Beautiful, she's really too beautiful. The second young master of the Ting clan clapped his hands and laughed. He walked forward and blocked Lin Xian and the second young master's path. Beauty, may I know your name? Where is your master? The second young master of the Ting clan greeted her with a smile. Murong Qingqing did not say anything, but she frowned. Lin Xian scoffed. Get lost, or I'll dig your eyes out. What? The second young master of the Ting clan narrowed his eyes when he heard that, and his face darkened. How dare the other party talk to me like that? He's courting death. Nevertheless, the surrounding people were already used to it. This was because the other party dared to kill young Master Baiyun. The second young master of the Ting clan might be powerful, but the other party probably would not take him seriously. Young fella, do you know who you're talking to? Do you want to die? The second young master of the Ting clan had a cold look in his eyes, and he emitted a terrifying killing intent. The eldest young master and the third young master stood out as well. The three of them were from the same clan, so they were bound together for good or ill. Therefore, they would fight together against the enemy. I'm in a good mood today, so I don't want to kill anyone. However, don't provoke me, or I won't mind sending the three of you on your way. Lin Xian hugged Murong Qingqing and said indifferently. You're courting death. The second young master of the Ting clan was furious. The eldest young master and the third young master's faces darkened as well, and their eyes were extremely gloomy. Just as the three of them were about to attack, a loud laugh was heard coming from the main hall in front of them. So it's the third young master of the Ting clan. Sorry for the disrespect. Third, why aren't you coming in with me? Another white-clothed young man walked out. Humph. Young fella, you're lucky this time. Just you wait, I'll definitely kill you today. The second young master of the Ting clan scoffed. He waved his sleeve and turned to walk in. The eldest and third young masters also looked deeply at Lin Xian before they left. Let's go. Lin Xian held Murong Qingqing's hand, and they walked in together. The surrounding people only dared to move forward after Lin Xian left for a long time. They had no choice as they did not dare to provoke the other party. Moreover, they felt that the three young masters of the Ting clan were going to be unlucky this time because they had offended a formidable person. Do you think this young fellow will attack the three young masters of the Ting clan? It's hard to say. It depends on whether the three young masters of the Ting clan want to attack this young fella. If the three young masters really want to attack him, he'll probably end up in a miserable state. That young fella looks like someone who has no scruples and is decisive. If they really fight, the three young masters of the Tong clan will probably end up in a miserable state. Is this young fella trying to offend everyone? Does he not want to stay in Jiuli anymore? Chapter 2294. The people from White Cloud City were probably already rushing over. If he was caught, it would be difficult for that kid to die. Forget it, let's not talk about it. This is not something we can discuss. Otherwise, if the other party hears us, we won't even be alive. Let's go in quickly. Yes, I've long wanted to see who that Yenryu is. Now that you mention it, I'm excited too. Let's go. The group stopped talking and entered the hall in front of them. The Moonflower Palace was even more lively inside. There were powerful warriors coming and going. At this moment there were groups of 3 and 10 people in groups. Those who knew each other gathered together to chat and drink. Even if they didn't know each other, they had heard of each other's reputation in the same dynasty. At this moment, they also smiled and greeted each other. Of course, there were also people who were hostile. After all, there were many young geniuses here, and no one was willing to submit to each other. There were even intense clashes of sparks. However, no one made a move here. The Moonflower Palace did not allow people to fight inside. If they wanted to fight, they could, but they would be kicked out. The Moonflower Palace did not belong to Qianshan City, nor did it belong to the Ninli dynasty. It was a very mysterious organization. No one knew who was standing behind them, but everyone knew that the Moonflower Palace was extremely terrifying and absolutely could not be provoked. Because there were once 5 top mighty figures who caused trouble here. In the end, the next day, the corpses of these 5 top mighty figures were hung on the city wall. These 5 mighty figures were not injured, but their eyes were wide open as if they had encountered something terrifying before they died. Ever since that incident, no one dared to cause trouble here. After Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing entered, they also looked around. They did not look for anyone, nor did they intend to exchange pleasantries with others. The two of them came only to silently inquire about the news and see if anyone was talking about the nest of 10,000 dragons. "Junior sister, you're here too." At this moment, a delicate voice sounded. Murong Qingqing and Ling Xian turned around and saw Dao Jiro walking over slowly from behind with surprise in her eyes. "Senior sister, you're here too." Murong Qingqing was also surprised. Lin Xian nodded slightly and greeted them. Zhao Jiro walked up. She looked at Lin Xian, rolled her eyes, and coldly snorted. "You brat, do you know that you almost caused the extermination of my Zhao clan?" "What? What happened?" Murong Qingqing was nervous, while Lin Xian frowned. "The people of the Tai dynasty were here? You also know why you hid your identity?" "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to." Lin Xian looked apologetic. After all, she was Murong Qingqing's senior sister. He said, "I hid my identity to avoid those people. It's just that I didn't expect them to come knocking on my door so soon. However, didn't I remind you that your Zhao family has nothing to do with me? Could it be that they had made a move? Draw a line between them? How could he clear his name? Everyone in Stellar Sky City has seen that you're staying in our Zhao clan, but they don't know." Zhao Jiro snorted coldly, but then she shook her head and did not make a move. For some reason, they retreated. And from the looks of it, they seemed to have let our Zhao clan go. "That's good." Murong Qingqing heaved a sigh of relief. Lin Xian asked, "Where are they? Have they come to Qianshan City?" "I don't know. Even if they don't come now, they will come soon. That was because there were too many experts from the Ninli dynasty. Moreover, they were also related to the Ninli dynasty. They will probably use the Ninli dynasty's intelligence network to lock onto your location." "You're quite bold, aren't you? You actually dared to swagger around here. How dare you show up at such a gathering? Don't you know that this gathering is for the top geniuses and people from great clans from all over the Ninli dynasty? If they recognize you, you won't be able to leave. Don't worry. They don't dare to provoke me now." Lin Xian shrugged. Zhao Jiro was puzzled. "Are you that confident?" Murong Qingqing said with a smile. Indeed, he had just killed young Master Bai Yun 2 days ago. The disciples of these families would not dare to do anything to him. What? He killed someone again? He even killed young Master Bai Yun. Zhao Jiro felt dizzy. She knew about young Master Bai Yun. He was famous and could do whatever he wanted in the Ninli dynasty. As long as he did not provoke those princes and lords, no one would dare to touch him. But now, the kid in front of her had killed young Master Bai Yun. "What do you want to do this time? What else did you do?" Zhao Jiro's mouth twitched. She had to get to the bottom of this. Otherwise, her heart would not be able to take it. "Other than killing young Master Bai Yun, I killed more than 10 experts from the city lord's mansion. Other than that, I didn't do anything else. You can't blame me. They were too arrogant. They wanted my life. I had to do something." "What? You even killed experts from the city lord's mansion?" Zhao Jiro exclaimed, attracting the attention of the people around her. The surrounding people were terrified, All the warriors from other cities in the distance were puzzled. Who is this kid? Is he out of his mind? What nonsense is he talking about? They did not believe what Lin Xian said. But fortunately, the Moonflower Palace was very vast. So at this moment, not many people noticed Lin Xian. Because there were too many people. There were tens of millions of cultivators here. Junior sister, I think you should stay away from this guy. Zhao Jiruo's mouth twitched. Murong Qingqing smiled. Don't worry, senior sister. I know what I'm doing. You call that knowing what I'm doing? He had offended almost 2 dynasties. Zhao Jiruo was going crazy. Lin Xian shrugged helplessly. Brother Long. At this moment, another voice was heard. Then, Lin Xian and the other 2 turned around. Behind him, a beautiful young lady was running towards him happily. Then she threw herself into Lin Xian's arms. Seeing this scene, Zhao Jiruo was stunned. Junior sister, this guy is too dishonest. He actually dares to interact with other girls in front of you. You can tolerate this? Zhao Jiruo's face darkened. Murong Qingqing was much calmer. She said indifferently. Brother Xian is a peerless genius. It's normal for many girls to like him. This means that I have good taste. Alright, I really don't know what you peerless geniuses are thinking. Each and every one of you is a freak. Zhao Jiruo shook her head helplessly. In front, Lin Xian also pushed away the beauty in his arms. Then he smiled. Little girl, why are you here? Brother Long, long time no see. In front, another tall figure walked over. Brother Xiao. Lin Xian smiled and greeted the other party. This tall figure was precisely Xiao Kuang. Previously, in Wanren City, Lin Xian and the other party had killed a powerful demon king. And the beauty in front of him was Xiao Linger. At this moment, Xiao Linger raised her face and shook Lin Xian's arm. Brother Long, when did you come? Why didn't you come to find me? The monthly votes are 185. Can it reach 200? It's time for more chapters. Chapter 2295. At the side, everyone looked at this scene and was extremely shocked. The martial artists of Qianshan City felt their scalps go numb. The foreign martial artists were even more shocked. Who was this person? How did he know the little princess of the Xiao family? They knew the background of Xiao Ling and Xiao Kuang. They were from the Hong sect. The Hong sect was very powerful and had spread throughout the entire Qianshan City. It could be said that it was a very powerful force. Therefore, Xiao Linger had become the little princess of Qianshan City. Their status could be said to be extremely noble. Compared to young Master Qianshan of the City Lord's Mansion and young Master Bai Yun, who had been killed, she was on par with them. It could be said that she was the dream of countless young prodigies. However, at this moment, they were a little confused. Xiao Linger was so enthusiastic about a strange young man. She even threw herself into his arms. What was the relationship between the two of them? Were they a couple? However, wasn't this brat already together with a peerless beauty? How could he hug her in both arms? These people were shocked. Many of them looked at Lin Xian with unfriendly expressions. After all, Xiao Linger was also on their list of pursuers. Miss Seductress. In front, Xiao Linger cheered and ran to Murong Qingqing's side. Lin Xian and Xiao Kuang walked to the side and drank and chatted. Around them, many peerless prodigies and young masters of large families walked over, trying to strike up a conversation with Xiao Linger, Murong Qingqing, and Zhao Jiruo. After all, they were 3 peerless beauties. However, they were all blocked by the 3 of them. Suddenly, a cry of surprise came from afar. Then countless people cried out in surprise. The sound was so loud that Lin Xian and the others turned their heads to look. In front of them, countless people were gathering there. A crystal platform rose, and a beautiful figure walked out from it. The woman's white clothes and black hair fluttered in the wind. Her eyes were incomparably clear, and her body exuded a celestial aura. She was indeed beautiful. Even Zhao Jiruo, Murong Qingqing, and the others were amazed. Lin Xian stared at him in shock, his pupils constricting. The wine cup in his hand suddenly shattered, and the wine spilled all over the floor. Seeing this scene, Xiao Kuang was puzzled. He asked, "Brother Long, what's wrong?" Murong Qingqing, Zhao Zhiro, and Xiao Linger were also surprised. Among them, Murong Qingqing was filled with worry, while Zhao Zhiro snorted coldly. Could it be that this guy was excited because he saw a beautiful woman? Nonsense, Brother Long wouldn't be like this. Xiao Linger snorted, and Murong Qingqing frowned. This was because she had never seen Lin Xian act so abnormally before. What's going on? Could it be that older brother Xian and this Yan Ryu know each other? Lin Xian was stunned because he did not recognize the white figure in front of him. However, he knew him and was extremely familiar with him. However, he did not understand why the other party was called Yan Ryu. This was Zhao Shui. When did it become Yan Ryu? To be honest, he was extremely shocked. He realized that Zhao Shui was a mystery. When he first met her, she was running away. After that, the two of them spent some time together before separating. When they met for the second time, Zhao Shui was incomparably cold, as if she did not recognize him. Moreover, her strength had undergone an earth-shattering change, and she had even learned the ancient divine power, the heavenly eye. This made Lin Xian even more shocked. However, the two of them spent some time together before leaving. After that, Lin Xian, Murong Qingqing, Xin Jingqiu, and the others came to the eastern wasteland and left the Tianwu continent. Lin Xian did not know if Zhao Shui had left or not. He even thought that he would never see her again in this lifetime. However, he did not expect that she would come too. Not only that, but she also appeared here. However, this time, Zhao Shui was even more mysterious. Even her name had changed. Was she Zhao Shui? Or was it just that she looked very similar? Even Lin Xian was extremely puzzled. However, he did not believe that he had misjudged her. Especially after he had the heavenly eye, it was even more impossible for him to be wrong. Perhaps she had no choice but to do so, Lin Xian thought. He had had a fortuitous encounter over the years, and so did she. Perhaps something had happened that forced Zhao Shui to change her name to Yan Ryu. However, no matter what, Lin Xian wanted to meet her and have a good chat. Kid, be careful. She may not be the Zhao Shui you know anymore. The Crimson Dragon also transmitted his voice at this time. Lin Xian frowned and asked, "What do you mean?" The Crimson Dragon said, "I can feel a demonic aura from her body, and she has a pure bloodline power. She is definitely a terrifying demon king. She may even be an extremely precious mutated species. Kid, you have to be careful. She may have been taken over by some old monster." What? Hearing this, Lin Xian's eyes darkened, and a terrifying aura emerged from his body. However, at this time, the Crimson Dragon said, "Not necessarily. Maybe she is from the demon clan. No, I have to find her and ask her clearly." Lin Xian decided that he had to meet Zhao Shui. However, now was not the right time. He was going to wait until the banquet was over to meet her alone. After Yan Ryu came out, a few more figures walked out. A handsome young man in green clothes. He should be Child Xianshan. As soon as he appeared, he was surrounded by countless people, like the stars surrounding the moon. Those standing around him were all peerless geniuses, people with status and strength. Ordinary people could not blend in. Yan Ryu was also invited to the side by Child Xianshan and the others to taste wine. The others could only watch from afar. Even so, they felt that this trip was worth it. That was because Yan Ryu was simply too beautiful. Lin Xian retracted his gaze and wiped the wine on his hands. He picked up a wine cup from the table and took a deep breath. He tried hard to regain his composure, and his gaze finally returned to normal. He drank with Xiao Kuang again. However, at this time, four beauties walked over from the crowd. The person in front, dressed in palace attire, came in front of Lin Xian with a smile and then bowed slightly. "Are you Lin Gongzi?" "I am." "Who are you?" Lin Xian looked at her. "Our master invites Lin Gongzi over." "Your master, who are you?" Lin Xian frowned. Could it be that Zhao Shui had discovered him? Lin Xian was not sure. Of course, this could be a trap. Perhaps someone wanted to deal with him and lure him away. Therefore, he had to ask clearly. The beauty in palace attire smiled and said, "We are from the Moonflower Palace. Our master is naturally the master of the Moonflower Palace." What, the master of the Moonflower Palace? Hearing this, Lin Xian was extremely surprised. Not only him, Zhao Jiruo, Xiao Kuang, and the others were even more surprised. The surrounding King Realm Almighties also exclaimed in surprise. The Moonflower Illusion Palace was extremely mysterious. No one knew who was standing behind them. In the past, many powerful families wanted to investigate. However, they all returned empty-handed. But now, to think that this mysterious master would invite Lin Xian over. What was going on? Did they know each other? Chapter 2296. This mysterious master actually wanted to invite Lin Xian. What was going on? Could it be that they knew each other? Everyone was extremely shocked, and the warriors of Qianshan's city also came to a realization. They had already said that Lin Xian couldn't be a rogue cultivator. Otherwise, how could he be so powerful? He even knew the master of the Moonflower Palace. This was something that ordinary people couldn't do. Who is your master? Lin Xian also frowned and asked. He didn't know the master of the Moonflower Palace? Lin Gongzi would naturally know if he went there himself. The woman in red smiled and then said, "Why, Lin Gongzi doesn't dare." "Humph! What's there to be afraid of?" Lin Xian put down his wine cup and said, "Brother Xiao, I'll go." "All right." Xiao Kuang nodded, and then Lin Xian came to Murong Qingqing's side. "Qingqing, you play with senior sister Jiruo and the others for a while. I'll be back soon. Be careful," Murong Qingqing said with concern. Lin Xian nodded and then left with the four women in palace attire. Lin Xian followed behind the woman in red and walked towards the depths of the Moonflower Palace. Soon, they arrived at a formation. The group of people entered the formation and disappeared with a flash of light. In an instant, Lin Xian and the others appeared in another place. Lin Xian looked around and realized that they should still be in the Moonflower Palace. They hadn't left, so he felt a lot more at ease. Not long after, they teleported again. After a total of 3 teleportations, they arrived at a very quiet place. Other than them, there was no one else around. It seemed that this should be the core of the Moonflower Palace. In front, the 4 beauties in red stopped and bowed respectfully. Then they said, "Lin Gongzi, please." Lin Xian nodded, pushed open the door and walked in. The 4 women in red closed the door behind him and quickly used the formation to leave this place. The inside was very big and the decorations were very exquisite. However, there was no one there. Seeing this, Lin Xian frowned. What was going on? Didn't someone want to see him? Why is there no one here? Thinking of this, he narrowed his eyes and released his soul power. Although this room was very large, and there were many rooms, Lin Xian's soul force was extremely strong. In the blink of an eye, he had covered the entire area. However, his frown deepened. Because he didn't sense anyone. Was there really no one? Lin Xian was stunned. He thought that there was someone else in another place, but his soul force didn't detect anyone else's aura. Lin Xian felt that something was amiss, so he turned around and left. Because he suspected that this might be a trap. Just as he turned around and took 2 steps, a flirtatious voice suddenly sounded out. "Lin Gongzi, why are you leaving?" Upon hearing this voice, Lin Xian froze and his pupils constricted. He abruptly turned his head, and a sharp light burst out from his eyes. He once again probed with his soul force. Someone's here? What was going on? He was extremely shocked. Because this time, he felt the aura of a human. But this was impossible. He clearly didn't sense it before. How did the other party appear? He didn't dare to believe it. One had to know that his soul force was even stronger than that of a peerless almighty. If he couldn't sense anyone, then it was definitely a human. But what was going on? Could it be that the other party had just teleported in? After another round of observation, he realized that there was no teleportation array in the room. Who are you? Why did you ask me to come? Lin Xian asked coldly. Then he said, What, is this how you treat your guests? Since you asked me to come, why don't you come out and meet me? Why do you have to be so sneaky? Young master, you're wrong. I want to come out too. But to see you, I specially took a bath. But I'm not done yet. Young master came too quickly. Why don't you sit down and wait for a while? Or you can come and find me directly. At this point, the sound of running water could be heard from the room. Hearing this sound, Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. Beauty trap? He wanted to see what tricks the other party was playing. Therefore, he walked towards the sound of running water. Sure enough, the door in front of him was half open. The sound of running water could be heard from inside. There was also mist, and a figure could be vaguely seen. Young master, come and have a cup of tea. However, at this moment, a coquettish voice came from the living room again. This voice was exactly the same as before. Obviously, it was from the same person. However, Lin Xian was shocked again. What's going on? Wasn't she taking a bath inside? Why did she suddenly come to the living room? In the next moment, he waved his sleeve, and the door couldn't be opened. Mist filled the room, but there was no one inside. Lin Xian's eyes flickered. Although he didn't activate the heavenly secret divine eyes, with his soul force, even a peerless almighty couldn't do anything to him. However, the current situation was really beyond his expectations. Therefore, in the next moment, his body swayed, and he used the demigods and semi-devils to instantly appear in the living room. There was indeed a figure in the living room. It was a woman. She was sitting there, wrapped in a bathrobe, and her hair was wet. It was obvious that she had just taken a bath. However, how was that possible? How did she come out? How could she hide from Lin Xian's perception? The woman's skin was snow white, and there was a fragrance on her body. In addition to the scene, she was infinitely seductive. However, Lin Xian wasn't in the mood to care about that. He asked coldly, Who are you? The woman raised her head. She was very beautiful, but Lin Xian realized that he didn't know her. That made him wary. The beautiful woman said with a smile as she dried her hair, Lin Gongzi, don't be so anxious when you're here. Sit down and have a cup of tea. This is 3,000-year-old oolong tea, and it contains oolong blood essence. Drinking a cup will definitely strengthen your physique. In order to entertain you, I've even brought out the best things. Su Chen's eyes flickered as he stared at her. However, he then sat down, and the corners of his mouth curled up into a smile. Well, I'll play with her. He wanted to see what tricks she had up her sleeves. Therefore, when he thought of that, he sat down boldly, picked up the teacup on the table, and took a sip. It's indeed good tea. Lin Xian nodded in satisfaction. The beautiful woman was stunned for a moment, then she smiled and said, You're right. Lin Gongzi, you're indeed bold. However, aren't you afraid that I'll poison you? Some poisons can even kill invincible kings, let alone mighty figures. Lin Gongzi, do you think you can resist me? Hearing that, Lin Xian smiled. He had secretly used the heavenly secret divine eyes to check before, and there was no problem. Moreover, he had the great dragon sword soul in his body. Even if there was poison, he was confident that he could destroy it. Therefore, he smiled and said, Seeing that your movement technique is extremely strange, I think you must have an extremely mysterious background. A person like you wouldn't stoop to poisoning people, right? Besides, even if there's poison in your tea, I'll drink it. Speaking of that, Lin Xian stared at her body. The beautiful woman was stunned for a moment, then she smiled and said, Lin Gongzi, you're indeed bold. The night is long, let's have fun. Speaking of that, she posed in an even more seductive manner. Chapter 2297. Lin Xian said with a smile. Sure, I can't wait any longer. As he said that, he reached out with his palm. His speed was so fast that it was as if he had passed through the void. In an instant, his palm appeared in front of the beautiful woman. His target was the bath towel on her body. Seeing this, the beautiful woman's expression froze. She did not expect him to be so decisive. But soon, she laughed coquettishly and twisted her body, dodging the attack by a hair's breadth. What a strange movement technique! Lin Xian was surprised. The other party was very fast and did not seem to be any weaker than his demigods and semi-devils. Who is this person? How can he have such an exquisite movement technique? Lin Xian was surprised that the other party had dodged his attack. However, in the next moment, he sped up again. Countless palm shadows in the sky instantly enveloped the woman. However, the woman's identity was even stranger. She had dodged all of them. Otherwise, her body would have disappeared into the void in an instant, and could no longer be seen. Seeing this, Lin Xian probed with his soul's spirit. The result shocked him. Similar to the previous scene, he could not capture the other party's trace at all. It was as if she had really disappeared. However, how was that possible? He knew that the other party had not disappeared. She had used some kind of movement technique or secret technique to hide. Thinking of this, he snorted coldly. A golden Tao pattern appeared in his eyes as he looked around. Whoosh! Lin Xian's lips curled into a smile as he reached behind him. Ah! A cry of surprise came from behind him. A woman's figure appeared. Whoosh! The bath towel on her body had been torn off by Lin Xian. At this moment, the woman was naked. Seeing this scene, Lin Xian was startled, whereas the woman started laughing. What, Lin Gongzi, do you want to do something else? As she spoke, she pounced towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian snorted coldly. With a flick of his sleeve, the bath towel wrapped around the beautiful woman again. The beautiful woman laughed coquettishly. A dagger appeared in her hand, and she slashed at Lin Xian's neck. The dagger shone with a cold light. It was obviously a top-tier treasure weapon. The void was instantly sliced open, and a terrifying crack appeared. Lin Xian felt a biting cold killing intent. His muscles tensed up, and countless sword chi surged out from his body, knocking the dagger away. Sword chi that filled the sky flew out from his body and swept across the sky. Chi! The woman's bathrobe was instantly torn apart. Not only that, a human skin mask fell off her face. Seeing this scene, the woman cried out in alarm. Lin Xian was also extremely surprised. A human skin mask. He did not expect that the other party had actually disguised himself. Furthermore, it was such an ancient method. It should be known that for peak kings like them, if they wanted to change their appearance, it was an extremely simple matter. He only needed to change his bones and muscles. However, if the other party was so strong, why did he still use such a primitive method like a human skin mask? However, what made him even more surprised was that he did not notice that the other party was in disguise. It seemed that this human skin mask was no ordinary mask. It's you! Lin Xian looked at him and exclaimed. Because he realized that he actually knew the person in front of him. Without the human skin mask, the woman revealed an exquisite face. She was also extremely beautiful. Buzz! The woman took out a robe from her storage ring and put it on, then knelt on the ground with one knee. Greetings, Master. Luo Beishan, it's actually you. Where have you been all these years? Lin Xian was extremely surprised. This woman was none other than the top assassin who had come from the Tianwu continent with him, Luo Beishan. Back then, not long after they had arrived in the eastern wilderness, Murong Qingqing, Xinjingqiu, and Luoli had been taken away by others. Among them, Murong Qingqing had gone to the Jade Lake sacred ground, and Xinjingqiu had gone to the Purple Dawn's sacred ground. Luo Bingshan had been taken away by a mysterious person. He did not expect that he would appear again. Moreover, the other party's strength had become so strong. That strange movement technique had shocked him greatly. Get up. I'm no longer your master. The restriction on you should have been removed. You don't have to do this. Lin Xian waved his hand, and a force lifted Luo Li up. Luo Bingshan said in a low voice. But in my heart, you've always been my master. All right, let's not talk about this for now. Lin Xian asked. Why are you here? How did you become the master of the Moonflower Palace? Also, what kind of movement technique is that? It's so strange that even I can't detect it. Master, listen to me slowly. Hearing this, Lin Xian smiled. Don't call me master. Change the way you address me. Then I'll call you Brother Xian. Actually, after I was taken away by that mysterious person that day, I joined an organization. An organization? What organization? Lin Xian was curious. Luo Bingshan said. Regarding our organization, the core secrets cannot be said. There are restrictions in my body. Once I say it, I will be killed instantly. However, I can tell you some basic information. Brother Xian, I don't know if you've heard of the Heavenly Court. Heavenly Court. Hearing this, Lin Xian's pupils shrank. How could he not have heard of the Heavenly Court? That was an assassin divine dynasty that was as famous as the Infernal Realm. Moreover, not long ago, he had been assassinated by the Infernal Realm's people and was almost killed. It could be said that his memory of this assassin divine dynasty was still fresh. Heavenly Court, Infernal Realm, Mortal Realm, could it be that ancient assassin divine dynasty? Lin Xian asked. That's right, it was the legendary Heavenly Court. Luo Bingshan nodded. Lin Xian was even more surprised. What, the organization you joined, could it be the Heavenly Court? He was extremely shocked. The Heavenly Court was a legendary existence that was even more terrifying than the Infernal Realm. The assassins inside were unparalleled in the world. No wonder the falling ice mountain's movement technique was so exquisite that even he couldn't detect it. Thinking about it, this should be a unique ability of the Heavenly Court's assassins. It was about the same, Luo Bingshan said. However, we are not called the Heavenly Court now, but Heaven. Heaven changed its name? Lin Xian frowned. Luo Bingshan explained that the Heavenly Court had been destroyed back then, but there were still some people left behind. These people wanted to rebuild the Heavenly Court, but over the past tens of thousands of years, their opinions had differed. Pirates must die, so in the end, these people were divided into two factions. One faction became Heaven, and the other faction became the Holy Hall. Among them, Heaven inherited the previous assassination legacy of the Heavenly Court and became the top assassin organization. As for the Holy Hall, they inherited other legacies. I'm not too sure what they do. I also changed my name. Now I'm called Luo Li. There was actually such a thing. Lin Xian was extremely surprised. He had heard before that the three major assassin divine dynasties had all suffered heavy losses. However, among them, the Mortal Realm and Infernal Realm were preserved, while the Heavenly Court was destroyed and became history. He didn't expect that the Heavenly Court was also preserved. However, it split into two factions and formed two new terrifying organizations. One was the new assassin divine dynasty, Heaven. The other was the Holy Hall, which seemed very mysterious. Then why are you here? Lin Xian asked. Chapter 2298. This Moonflower Castle is a stronghold of our Heavenly Hall. I'm in charge here. So that's how it is. Lin Xian finally understood. But then, he asked again, Luo Li, how much do you know about hell? Can you tell me more about it? What's wrong, Brother Xian? Are you interested in hell? Luo Li was surprised. Lin Xian said in a low voice. Not long ago, I was assassinated by them. What? Hell had attacked. Luo Li was extremely surprised. She didn't expect Hell to assassinate Lin Xian. What surprised her even more was that Lin Xian actually managed to escape. She found it hard to believe. One had to know that Hell was an ancient dynasty of assassins, an extremely terrifying existence. Rumor had it that the palace of Hell was filled with countless heads. Many of them were saints and invincible kings. One could imagine how terrifying Hell was. However, she was surprised that Lin Xian was able to escape. I happen to know a stronghold of hell. And it's in the Nine Li dynasty. From the looks of it, it should be the people of this stronghold who did it. But Brother Xian, the people of hell are extremely terrifying. Unless a large army presses down on them, they can't be destroyed. Otherwise, it'll be difficult to fight against them. I know, don't worry. Lin Xian nodded. I won't be impulsive. But I need to know where they are first. I'll settle the score with them later. Soon, Luo Li told Lin Xian the location of Hell's stronghold. After Lin Xian heard it, his eyes shone with a cold light. While Lin Xian was chatting with Luo Li, on the other side, Murong Qingqing and the others were surrounded by people. The few of them standing there were simply too dazzling. Other than Yan Riyu's side, there was Murong Qingqing's side. Some people even compared Yan Riyu and Murong Qingqing and found that they were on par. This made them even more shocked and surprised. Yan Riyu was also very surprised when she discovered this situation. Yan Riyu was fine. Her face was like autumn water, and her beautiful eyes were incomparably deep. The young geniuses around her were extremely surprised. There was actually someone who could be compared to Fairy Yan. Who was this person? He looked unfamiliar. He shouldn't be from our Nine Li dynasty. Otherwise, we would have known about it long ago. These were all young masters of large clans. They were very clear about the geniuses and beauties of the Nine Li dynasty. Nothing could escape their eyes. But now, they discovered that they actually didn't know each other. The three young masters of the Ting clan also turned their heads to look. Subsequently, the Ting family's second young master smiled. He walked over again. Is Brother Ting interested in that girl? Many people laughed, including the Ting family's third young master. Yes, when we were outside, second elder brother had already noticed him. If he didn't succeed, second brother wouldn't give up. However, there were also people who frowned. Wasn't that woman with that brat? Brat, which brat? Why, is he famous? Many people were puzzled. The young man said. Of course, he was famous. That brat had killed young Master Bai Yun and more than 10 experts from the City Lord Mansion. Do you think it's famous or not? What? Young Master Bai Yun was killed? Many young geniuses were shocked. They had just arrived from somewhere else, so they naturally didn't know what had happened. Young Master Qianshan frowned and a cold look appeared in his eyes. It's them. Humph. The experts from White Cloud City are already on their way. But as young Master Bai Yun's good friend, I won't let the enemy escape. A terrifying killing intent rose from young Master Qianshan's body. Not only did the other party kill young Master Bai Yun, but he also killed more than 10 experts from the City Lord Mansion. This was a provocation to them. It was a slap to their faces. As the future ruler of Qianshan City, how could young Master Qianshan allow this to happen? Therefore, in his heart, he had already sentenced Lin Xian to death. However, at this moment, a young man beside him exclaimed, Isn't that Xiaoling there? Why is she with the people from the Hong sect? Could it be that they know each other? It's over. If she's really a friend of the Hong sect, it won't be easy to touch her. After all, the Hong sect is very terrifying. So what? Ordinary people might be afraid of her, but my big brother Qianshan isn't. A young man beside him sneered. He was also from the City Lord Mansion and was young Master Qianshan's younger brother. The young man raised his head and said proudly, My big brother is the outstanding genius of the Yin-Yang sect. He's the future Supreme King. No matter how powerful the Hong sect is, can they be more powerful than the Yin-Yang sect? Young Master Qianshan smiled and said calmly, Don't worry about them. We can't fight here. After the banquet, I'll let them know the consequences of offending the City Lord Mansion. While the group of people were discussing, on the other side, Murong Qingqing was surrounded by many people. Whoosh! Suddenly, the crowd dispersed and a young man walked over. It was the second young master of the Ting family. He was also followed by a few young masters from other big families. As soon as they entered, they pushed away the ordinary kings. The second young master of the Ting family's eyes lit up as he looked at Murong Qingqing and the others. When he saw Zhao Jiro and Xiao Linger, his eyes also lit up. Then, the smile on his face became wider. 3 stunning beauties, looks like I'm really lucky. However, in the end, he still stared at Murong Qingqing. Fairy, we meet again. The second young master of the Tang family said with a smile. Murong Qingqing looked at him and asked coldly, Who are you? I don't know you. Tengkuen, hurry up and leave. You're not welcome here. Xiao Ling'er also snorted coldly. It was obvious that she knew the person in front of her. Oh, isn't this little Princess Ling'er? I haven't seen her for a few days and little Princess Ling'er has become more beautiful. Tengkuen's gaze shifted from Murong Qingqing to Xiao Ling'er. Moreover, he looked at her without the slightest scruple. Xiao Ling'er's face turned cold when she saw this scene. Xiao Kuang, who was standing at the side, shouted coldly, Watch your dog eyes. Believe it or not, I'll dig them out for you. Humph, try it. Tengkuen looked at him and sneered. The Hong sect is powerful, but do you think the Tang family is afraid of you? Don't forget the status of the Tang family. If you dare to touch me, I can guarantee that you'll all die. So, hurry up and get lost. Don't you see that I'm talking to these beauties? Xiao Kuang's face darkened when he heard these arrogant words. The surrounding almighty kings felt their scalps go numb, and a trace of fear appeared in their eyes. This was because they knew what kind of existence the Tang family was. This was a big family, and an extremely terrifying one at that. The Tang family was not completely human, but a very special existence. They were a half-demon family. The Tang family was born from the union of the human and demon race. However, no one dared to underestimate them. This was because the Tang family's ancestor was an invincible king. An invincible king was even more terrifying than an almighty king. He was a top-notch expert. In an era where there were no saints, almost no one could fight against an invincible king. Chapter 2299. Therefore, the Tang family had a special status in the Nine Li dynasty. Almost no one dared to offend them. Even young Master Qianshan, the son of the governor, and the genius of the Yin-Yang sect, had to rope in the 3 young masters of the Tang family. Therefore, although the Hong sect was powerful, the Tang family was not afraid of them. Seeing that he had intimidated everyone, Tengkuen once again looked at Murong Qingqing. He grabbed a cup of spirit wine from the tray of the maid beside him and handed it over. Come, fairy, let me buy you a drink. However, Murong Qingqing did not extend her hand. Instead, she looked at Tengkuen coldly. It was an awkward scene. Tengkuen's face darkened. His eyes shone brightly as he spoke in a low voice. Beauty, you must think carefully. Tengkuen's followers behind him sneered. That's right. Brother Kun is giving you face by offering you a drink. Don't you know that Brother Kun is on the same level as the prince? It's your fortune to be chosen by Brother Kun. Numerous voices sounded out, causing Zhao Zhiro and Xiao Ling'er's little faces to turn icy cold. Amongst them, Xiao Ling'er was even gnashing her teeth. Damn this guy. He's too despicable. I really want to beat him up. Oh, why isn't Brother Long here? If he's here, I'll teach him a lesson. Zhao Zhiro frowned. This guy is so ungrateful. How dare he threaten junior sister Qingqing? He's courting death. She snorted and was about to reveal Murong Qingqing's true identity. What was the Tang family? So what if they were on the same level as the prince? Their identities were not worth mentioning in front of Murong Qingqing. Murong Qingqing was the saintess of the Jade Lake Sacred Ground and the future master of the Jade Lake. Her identity was on par with the crown prince of the imperial family. Apart from the crown prince, only the saints and saintesses of the other sacred grounds could be mentioned in the same breath. Even an ordinary prince would have a lower status in front of Murong Qingqing. Not to mention the Tang family in front of her. Therefore, she wanted to reveal Murong Qingqing's identity to scare these people. However, Murong Qingqing shook her head slightly. She did not intend to reveal her identity this time. If she came here as the Jade Lake Saint, she wouldn't have come alone. She would have brought a large number of people with her. There were 2 reasons why the sect had asked her to come here secretly. Firstly, it was to increase her experience. Secondly, the Jade Lake's sacred ground also hoped to secretly investigate the nest of 10,000 dragons. Therefore, Murong Qingqing stopped him. In the next moment, a smile appeared on her face. Then, she reached out with her jade-like hand and caught the wine cup. Seeing this scene, everyone was startled, because Murong Qingqing's smile was simply too beautiful. The Tang family's second young master, Tengkuan, was even more proud. If he could obtain such a peerless beauty, he would be incredibly lucky. However, Zhao Zhiro and Xiao Ling were dazed. Something was not right. Why would Murong Qingqing agree? While they were in a daze, the situation suddenly changed. Everyone's eyes nearly popped out of their sockets. Tengkuan's face instantly darkened. This was because after Murong Qingqing took the wine cup, she did not drink it. Instead, she waved her jade-like hand and poured all the spiritual wine on Tengkuan's face. She wants to drink with me? She's not qualified. Poof! Tengkuan's face was splashed with wine, and he was stunned on the spot. At this moment, not only was Tengkuan stunned, but everyone was stunned as well. Zhao Zhiro and Xiao Ling were stunned. All the King Almighties and the lackeys behind them were also stunned. Then, they burst into shouts like a mountain torrent, screaming one after another. The lackeys also shouted, F***CK, Brother Kuan, are you alright? Tengkuan's face was also gloomy. The aura on his body suddenly erupted, and like a divine rainbow, he charged towards Murong Qingqing. Murong Qingqing snorted coldly, and countless rays of light appeared on her body, forming a 5-colored lotus flower that instantly blocked the attack. Crack, crack, crack! The void cracked open, and the terrifying energy caused many to vomit blood. On the side, Xiao Kuang activated his king's domain to protect Xiao Linger. Zhao Jiruo's body was also surrounded by light, and a ball of armor appeared. A battle was about to break out. Buzz, buzz, buzz! Countless runes lit up in the surroundings, and 8 beautiful women suddenly appeared. The one leading them was the woman in red who invited Lin Xian earlier. As soon as they appeared, they shouted, Who dares to fight in the Moonflower Castle? Are you tired of living? Hearing this, everyone looked at each other and did not dare to speak. The people in the distance also looked over. Even Yan Ryu and young Master Qian Shan stopped talking. Young Master Qian Shan looked into the distance and frowned. The young geniuses in the surroundings were also discussing. Damn, why are they fighting? Someone dares to fight Brother Tang? Are they tired of living? When the eldest and third young masters of the Ting family saw this scene, their figures flashed and instantly appeared in front of them. Second brother. Second brother. The two of them came in front of Tengkuan. When they saw Tengkuan's face covered in wine, they were both stunned. Then, their bodies emitted an extremely terrifying aura. Why? Do you want to fight? Seeing this, the woman in red's face darkened. No matter who you are, if you dare to fight here, you'll be punished by the Moonflower Castle. At this point, the woman in red's aura suddenly became fierce. Not only that, but terrifying runes flickered under her feet and condensed in the air. A terrifying killing formation spread out. Everyone's hearts trembled. Young Master Kuan, forget it. At this moment, young Master Qian Shan also arrived. Not only him, but Yan Ryu also walked over. The crowd dispersed, and a group of dozens of people rushed over. These people were all young geniuses and young masters of large clans. They were very terrifying. At this moment, everyone was standing there. Of course, they were all on Tengkuan's side. Only Xiao Ling and Zhao Zhiro were still standing beside Murong Qingqing. However, Murong Qingqing's expression was indifferent. So what if there's a magnificent army? She would not be afraid at all. As the saintess, her strength was unfathomable. Brother Ting, there's no need to fight here. Young Master Qian Shan and the others walked over and hurriedly dissuaded him. That was because he knew very well how terrifying the Moonflower Castle was. Even he did not dare to be presumptuous there. Humph! Hearing this, Tengkuan snorted coldly and put away his terrifying domain. Immediately, the light that filled the sky disappeared. All the King Almighties heaved a sigh of relief. The 5-colored lotus in front of Murong Qingqing also quickly rushed into her body and disappeared. When the people from the Moonflower Castle saw this scene, they said coldly, "I'll say it again. No fighting is allowed here. If anyone disobeys, kill without mercy. No matter who you are, the Moonflower Castle is not afraid." After saying that, she ignored Tinkuan and the others and looked at Murong Qingqing instead. Then, the woman in red smiled. Chapter 2300. The woman in red looked at Murong Qingqing and smiled. "Fairy Murong, Lin Gongzi is chatting with my master and will be back soon. If there's anything, just call me." "All right, thank you." Murong Qingqing nodded. The woman in red left with her people. The surrounding people were shocked. Heavens, what's the relationship between these people and the Moonflower Palace? How could they be treated so politely by the Moonflower Palace? One had to know that the Moonflower Palace didn't even respect a terrifying family like the Ting family. One could imagine how powerful they were. However, Murong Qingqing was treated so respectfully. This shocked everyone, especially the third young master of the Ting family, who frowned slightly. Tinkuan sneered. "I underestimated you. Don't think that you can provoke me just because you have the support of the Moonflower Palace. Just you wait. When the banquet ends and you leave this palace, I'll see who can save you. When the time comes, I'll make you kneel and beg me." With that, Tinkuan snorted and turned to leave. The eldest and third young masters of the Ting family looked at Murong Qingqing and the others with a sinister smile. Then they left as well. Next, young Master Qianshan and the others also left. "Junior sister, why didn't you tell them your identity and scare them to death? Let's see how arrogant they can be." Zhao Jiro snorted. She naturally couldn't stand the arrogance of Tinkuan and the others. "What's the big deal? Isn't it just the invincible House of Kings? The Jade Lake Sacred Ground has produced a great emperor. They're not on the same level." However, Murong Qingqing shook her head. "No, I can still fight against them without any identity. Besides, I came out this time to gain experience in the mortal world." Xiao Linger, Xiao Kuang, and the others didn't know Murong Qingqing's true identity, so they said worriedly, "Sister Murong, come with us later. Otherwise, I'm worried that those guys will attack you." "Okay." Murong Qingqing smiled. She did not take this matter to heart. On the other side, young Master Qianshan invited Tinkuan and the other 3 young masters of the Ting clan to the side. "Damn it, I'm so angry." Tinkuan gritted his teeth. The other party actually dared to spill wine all over his face. Since he was young, he had never suffered such a loss. This was a slap to his face. The Ting family's third young master scoffed. "If it weren't for the fact that we can't fight here, they would have become my second brother's slaves long ago. Also, that kid actually dared to be so arrogant towards us when he was outside. At that time, he would deal with him as well. Of course, I want to see his beloved woman being tortured by me with my own eyes." Tinkuan revealed a hideous smile. However, young Master Qianshan reminded them, "Don't let your guard down. Not long ago, that kid killed young Master Bai Yun and more than 10 peerless experts of my city lord mansion. It could be said that his strength was terrifying, and he acted without any scruples." "What? There was actually such a thing?" The Ting family's eldest young master and third young master were also astonished. Tinkuan also took a deep breath, and a solemn look appeared in his eyes. However, a cold smile soon appeared on his face. "So what? No matter how powerful that kid is, I must kill him today. Also, I must let that B*TCH know how powerful I am. Gentlemen, if you can really get rid of them, I believe the White Cloud Mansion will be very grateful to you," young Master Qianshan said in a deep voice. "Is that so?" The others sneered when they heard that. "It seems like that kid is definitely going to die. How about this? Send out the 4 Jiuli demons." "What? You want to use them?" The eldest young master was shocked when he heard Tinkuen's words. Young Master Qian Shan's eyes also lit up. Second brother, aren't you making a mountain out of a molehill? The third young master said. I'm doing this just in case. Tinkuen took a deep breath. This time, I can't let them escape. Therefore, I can't allow any mistakes. Moreover, that kid is very powerful, and that B*TCH was able to block my attack just now. Come to think of it, she must be a genius too. It's not safe to let others do it, not to mention the people from the Hung sect. Therefore, no matter who the 4 Julie demons are, they'll definitely die if we send them out. However, we need the permission of our clan leader to use them. No, we'll use our identities to forcefully control them. After this matter is settled, we'll apologize to our clan leader. Alright, I'll contact the 4 Julie demons now. The eldest young master of the Ting family also took a deep breath. Since they had already decided on this matter, they would not go back on their words. Soon, they hurriedly contacted the clan leader. Fortunately, there were only the 3 young masters of the Teng family, and young Master Qian Shan nearby. Otherwise, the others would definitely scream and be terrified if they heard it. This was because the 4 Jiuli demons were 4 very powerful demon kings of the Jiuli dynasty. Among them, the Great Demon and the Second Demon were peerless powerhouses. Although the 3 demons and the 4 demons were not peerless powerhouses, they were not far away. They were far more powerful than ordinary top-notch powerhouses. It could be said that the 4 of them were very terrifying when they joined forces. It would be easy for them to kill a peerless powerhouse. It could be said that they were more than enough to deal with a few young people. They would not be able to escape. Even if they were saints or princes, they would not be a match for the 4 Jiuli demons in a one-on-one battle. Moreover, how could these people be saints and princes? Therefore, they would definitely die. For a moment, these people sneered. In addition, in the secret chamber, Lin Xian still did not know what was happening outside. At this moment, he was drinking tea and chatting with Luo Li. At this moment, Lin Xian asked again. Oh right, do you know anything about the nest of 10,000 dragons? About the nest of 10,000 dragons? Luo Li was stunned when he heard this. Then, he said, I know a little. Seeing Lin Xian's expectant gaze, Luo Li hurriedly explained. According to our intelligence, the beast tide of the Jiuli dynasty this time is related to the nest of 10,000 dragons. It seems that these demons are preparing for something. It seems that it should be related to the 10,000 dragons' annihilation. Moreover, the demons' influence is very wide, and many people from the human race have dealings with them. Among them, there are half-demon clans and some human clans that have been bribed by them. It seemed that the nest of 10,000 dragons would appear soon. At that time, it was uncertain whether it would be a blessing or a curse. There were actually humans who colluded with the demons. Lin Xian was surprised. He didn't expect this matter to be so complicated. But then, he asked again. Well, aren't there countless treasures in the nest of 10,000 dragons? Although that was the case, there was another rumor. That was the nest of 10,000 dragons, the place where the dragons were buried. Legend had it that these dragons were not dead, but asleep. If this legend was true, these dragons would awaken when the nest of 10,000 dragons opened this time. Chapter 2301. Luli didn't say anything else, but a hint of worry appeared in her eyes. The dragon race was a legendary existence. If they were to revive, what kind of earth-shattering changes would it bring? In the end, the dragon race was also a type of demon race. In the end, would the dragon race support the humans or revive the demon race? It was still an unknown. Therefore, it was hard to say whether it was a blessing or a curse. Brother Xian, didn't you have a dragon by your side? Hearing this, the crimson dragon poked its head out of the black earth. Little girl, why are you looking for me? Seeing this scene, Luoli was shocked, but she quickly recovered. She looked at the crimson dragon and said in a deep voice. You should know how terrifying the dragon race is. Although the human race is prosperous now, in ancient times, the human race was very weak. At that time, the myriad races were at their peak. The human race was only one of them. Other than that, there were many powerful races. The dragon race was one of them. If these terrifying races were to revive, it was unknown whether the human race would be able to resist them. Powerful races? What were they? Lin Xian was shocked. He didn't know about these ancient secrets. Luoli seemed to know a little. She said that there were too many races in the myriad ancient races. The most powerful ones, other than the dragon race, were the Tianji race, the spirit race, the light race, the Kunping race, the Yiksha race, and so on. In short, there were a lot of them. Most of these races were demon race. Were there really so many myriad ancient races? Lin Xian was shocked. Luoli nodded. In the past, there were countless heads in our heavenly court. Among them, there were the dragon race. There were also the spirit race and the Tianji race. For example, Yiksha, Sky Ant, and so on. The heads of all kinds of strange shapes were all over the ground. Those were the heads of saints. It was said that in hell, there was a wall that was completely piled up with the heads of the terrifying myriad ancient races. Hearing this, Lin Xian sucked in a breath of cold air. As expected of the ancient god of killers, he was indeed terrifying. But soon he frowned. Originally, he wanted to explore the nest of 10,000 dragons because he wanted to obtain the treasures inside. But now, it seemed that it was extremely dangerous inside. But no matter what, he had to give it a try. After all, that was the legendary treasure trove. After chatting for a while, Lin Xian prepared to leave. Because Murong Qingqing and the others were still outside. Older brother Xian, if you have any difficulties, you can come find me. If you want to kill any experts, you can also come here for a mission. Don't worry, I won't be courteous if it's useful. Lin Xian smiled and left. Looking at Lin Xian's back as he left, Luoli said indifferently, I really want to be with you. However, there are restrictions in my body. I'm afraid I'll never be able to leave this paradise. On the other side, Lin Xian left the room. There were 4 women waiting outside. They took Lin Xian away from the core area. Soon, Lin Xian arrived at the hall below. It was still bustling outside, but when Lin Xian came out, all eyes were on him. Their eyes were filled with shock, surprise, and a trace of fear. The crowd automatically made a path for him. At this moment, not only the cultivators in the city, but even the cultivators outside were terrified. What a joke! Someone who could establish a relationship with the Moonflower Palace was definitely not simple. Not everyone had such a strong background like the Ting family's young master Jianshan. Ordinary cultivators did not dare to provoke him. Of course, there were also people who sneered and gloated. This was because they knew that this kid was doomed. Lin Xian killed young master Bai Yun, and Murong Qingqing offended the young master of the Tang family. Whether it was the White Cloud Mansion or the Tang family, they were extremely terrifying. Even if this kid in front of them had the protection of the Moonflower Palace, no one would be able to save them once they left this place. Lin Xian ignored these people's gazes and strode over to Murong Qingqing and the others. Lin Xian said, Sorry for the wait. Murong Qingqing heaved a sigh of relief and smiled. Xiaolinga said, Big brother Lin, why are you only here now? Seriously, I'm so angry just now. What's wrong? Lin Xian asked. Who made Ling angry? Humph, it's not me. It's someone who has designs on Big Sister Miss Seductress. Xiaolinga was fuming with anger as she recounted the events from before. Lin Xian frowned after hearing this. Someone actually dared to have designs on Murong Qingqing when he was not around and even dared to threaten them. They were courting death. A cold murderous intent appeared in his eyes. At the side, Zhao Jiro reminded him. Be careful. That person is the young master of the Ting family. The Ting family is the invincible house of kings. They're very terrifying. Moreover, they have many allies here. This time, you can't act rashly. If you really can't, you can ask the Moonflower Palace to escort you away. To be honest, Zhao Jiro was really worried. Moreover, she now knew that there was an even more terrifying Tai dynasty behind them. Of course, she hoped that Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing could leave this place safely. Thank you for your concern, Senior Sister Jiro, Lin Xian said. However, soon after, he changed the topic and a sharp light appeared in his eyes. Cultivators like us never shrink from a battle. Since the other party dares to cause trouble, I won't be polite either. Let's go, Qingqing. I'll take revenge for you. Lin Xian held Murong Qingqing's small hand. Murong Qingqing smiled faintly. Okay. She followed Lin Xian and walked forward. Seeing this scene, Xiao Linga was extremely excited. Great, I can finally take revenge. Previously, she was very dissatisfied with the Ting family. Xiao Kuang snorted coldly. If necessary, he would also take action. That was because he had long wanted to take action. Zhao Jira sighed. Forget it, there's no need to persuade him. He even dared to kill the Golden Lion King, let alone the cultivators of the Ting family. I wonder what will happen. Thinking of this, she quickened her footsteps and followed. Whoosh! Seeing Lin Xian and the others walking into the distance, the surrounding King Almighties discussed animatedly. They immediately made way. However, everyone's gaze fell on Lin Xian and the others. Where is this kid going? Is he thinking of leaving? I think it's possible. After all, he provoked the Tang family. He can't afford to offend them. Leaving now is the best way. What a joke, that's not an exit. It seems that he's going to look for the young master of the Tang family. I also think that's possible. With his character, he won't leave just like that. Don't forget about young Master Baiyun. Many people discussed animatedly. In the next moment, they also followed behind Lin Xian. For a moment, the crowd surged forward like a dark cloud. Naturally, the people in front also noticed this scene, so they all turned their heads. When they saw Lin Xian, Murong Qingqing, and the others, their eyelids twitched wildly. Chapter 2302. Humph! Tingkuan, the second young master of the Ting family, naturally saw this and scoffed. A cold light flashed in his eyes. At the same time, he let go of the beauty in his arms and turned around to look behind him. Apart from him, the eldest young master of the Teng family, the third young master of the Teng family, young master Qianshan, and the other young masters of the major families also came over. These people formed a powerful force. The air instantly condensed, and a terrifying invisible pressure pressed down on Lin Xian's courage. The pressure formed by these people joining forces was terrifying. Sure enough, in an instant, the expressions of all the King Almighties changed, and they retreated one after another. No one could withstand the pressure. In fact, they were worried that Lin Xian would be crushed in an instant. Lin Xian felt the pressure, but he scoffed and activated his great dragon sword soul. Buzz! A terrifying dragon's might was released, offsetting the terrifying pressure in front of him. The sound of ice and snow melting could be heard in the sky, and the terrifying pressure disappeared. Humph! Seeing this, Tingquin's face became even gloomier. Young Master Qianshan also had a grave look in his eyes. Everyone looked at Lin Xian. Opposite him, a beautiful woman also stared at Lin Xian with flickering eyes. She was Yan Ryu. Lin Xian looked at Yan Ryu, then the corners of his mouth curled up, and he smiled. Long time no see. He did not directly acknowledge the other party, but used this method. This way, if the other party was really Zhao Shui, she would definitely understand what he meant. After hearing this, Yan Ryu smiled faintly but did not say anything. Her beautiful eyes became even more profound. Everyone around was stunned. What's going on? Does this fella know Yan Ryu too? Oh God, how is this possible? Who exactly is this? Young Master Qianshan, the Teng family's young master, and the others also frowned. Among them, Tingquin even scoffed coldly. Fella, don't pretend to be mysterious. How could you know Fairy Yen? Why, are you here to die? Or are you here to beg for mercy? At this point, he sneered. It wasn't just him. The people around him were all looking at Lin Xian with sneers on their faces. Young Master Qian Shan waved his fan and stood with his hands behind his back. His eyes were cold. He wanted to see how this kid would deal with today's situation. Brat, you are very arrogant. I originally wanted to look for you, but I didn't expect you to take the initiative to come here. Very well, tell me, how do you want to settle this? If you want to apologize, you have to kneel down and kowtow to me 100 times. Also, give me your woman to play with for 2 days. I can spare your life. Ha ha! Hearing this, everyone laughed. They wanted to see what the other party would do. Would he really hand over the woman obediently? When Lin Xian heard this, the corners of his mouth curled up into a cold smile. Very well, let's do as you say. Now kneel down and kowtow to me 100 times. Also, ask your mother to come over. I'll play with her for 2 days. I can spare your life. What? Hearing this, everyone was stunned. His eyes widened in disbelief. The faces of the Tang family's 3 young masters darkened at once. Damn brat, what did you say? The Tang family's 3rd young master roared ferociously, and a piercing killing intent appeared in his eyes. It was like a demonic sword that instantly pierced through the void. The Tang family's eldest young master and 2nd young master's faces were even gloomier. They were like raging volcanoes that would erupt at any time. The others were also shocked and in disbelief. Lin Xian sneered. Why, am I allowed to insult others? Can't I insult you? Or are you born noble and superior? I said, obediently do as I say, and I can spare your life. Otherwise, today will be the day you die. You are courting death. Ting Kun was also furious. No one had ever dared to insult him like this. Today, he must kill the other party. How dare you? Presumptuous! How dare you speak to young Master Ting like this? Quickly slap him. Kneel down and kowtow. Otherwise, you are dead. The few young men behind Ting Kun sneered. Their voices were like thunder that resounded in all directions. The others also glared angrily and emitted cold killing intent. However, without exception, no one made a move. This was because this was the Moonflower Castle, and there were rules that forbade fighting. Even an almighty would be killed if they made a move, let alone them. No one dared to break this rule. Young fella, I know you have the support of the Moonflower Castle, which is why you dare to be so unscrupulous. Ting Kun said coldly, his eyes burning with anger. A layer of terrifying flames appeared on his body. So what? You can't stay here forever. As long as you dare to take a step out of here, I can guarantee that you will end up miserably. I will torture you for the rest of your life, and you will beg for death. This is the consequence of provoking me. The Ting family's eldest young master and 3rd young master also snorted coldly. The killing intent in their eyes was not concealed at all. After Lin Xian heard this, he sneered in disdain. Why, you only dare to threaten but don't dare to make a move? Looks like you are really useless. How dare you be so arrogant? What a joke! Lin Xian sneered in disdain. After Ting Kun heard this, he even snorted coldly. Young fella, don't play tricks, we all know the rules here. I won't give you a chance, and I won't let the Moonflower Castle make a move either. Just wait, the banquet will end soon, and your death will come. Damn it, this guy didn't fall for it. Xiao Linger waved her fist angrily, and beside her, Zhao Jiruo also had a solemn expression. Lin Xian sneered. Why, do you think I said those words to make you break the rules? Do you think I dared to come here because of the Moonflower Castle? Of course. If it wasn't for the Moonflower Castle, you would be a dead man by now. Do you think you can still stand? The 3rd young master of the Ting family shouted coldly, and the eldest young master of the Ting family also snorted coldly. The young geniuses around them also sneered. Lin Xian smiled. Looks like the incident with young Master Bai Yun didn't teach you a deep enough lesson. If that's the case, I don't mind teaching you a lesson. What? He was going to make a move. Everyone around was shocked, and young Master Qian Sen also frowned. Yan Ryu's beautiful eyes flickered, and she looked very expectant. On the other hand, Xiao Linger, Zhao Jira, and the others were a little worried. Although they knew that Lin Xian had a special relationship with the people of the Moonflower Castle, they were afraid that he could not break the rules so obviously. After all, if the rules were broken, the prestige of the Moonflower Castle would be reduced by a lot in the future. The Ting family naturally understood this logic. Therefore, they sneered in disdain. "Young fella, you still dare to make a move? Who do you think you are? Do you think you can break the rules here just because you have a little relationship?" They snorted in disdain, and they did not believe it at all. The young men behind Ting Kun were even more arrogant. They stood out from the crowd, came in front of Lin Xian, and said arrogantly, "Come, come, come! I'm standing here, try and touch me." Chapter 2303. They stood out from the crowd, came in front of Lin Xian, and said arrogantly, "Come, come, come! I'm standing here, try touching me." Teng Kun, young Master Qianshan, and the others had cold gazes. They were also looking forward to it. As long as the other party attacked, they would have an excuse. Even the people from Moonflower Palace had no choice but to come out and punish Lin Xian. Because this was the rule, a rule that could not be broken. I've seen people run fast when snatching treasures. But this is the first time I've seen people in a hurry to die. Since you guys are in such a hurry to die, I'll fulfill your wish. With that said, Lin Xian waved his palm. Slap! 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 The crisp sound of a slap rang out, shaking the void. The tens of millions of cultivators in the distance all heard it. In the next moment, they were shocked. They were in an uproar. Their eyes widened in disbelief. Because in front of them, 3 arrogant young men were slapped to the face and directly slapped to the ground. The ground trembled as if an earthquake had happened. And their faces were completely deformed. Their teeth were broken all over the ground, and blood splattered everywhere. What? He attacked! He really attacked! How dare he? Could it be that he wants to break the rules of Moonflower Palace? Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air as they stared ahead in disbelief. One had to know that in the past, when a peerless almighty made a move here, they were mercilessly killed. Although the kid in front of them had some relationship with Moonflower Palace, in order to maintain their dignity, Moonflower Palace absolutely did not allow anyone to make a move here. In their opinion, this kid was too daring. He's dead meat. You! The 3 young geniuses were slapped to the ground, and they were very angry. They roared crazily and struggled. A terrifying light surged from their bodies. They wanted to attack. How could they endure being slapped in public? But in the next moment, Lin Xian's cold voice sounded. Why, you dare to attack? Then try it. Buzz! Hearing this, the 3 geniuses' attack stopped in midair. The light on their bodies also dimmed. Indeed, they did not dare to attack. Although the other party had broken the rules, it did not mean that they could break the rules. They did not dare to offend Moonflower Palace. Pung pung pung! Just as the 3 of them were hesitating, Lin Xian lifted his leg and kicked the 3 of them. The 3 of them felt as if they were struck by lightning, as if 3 mountains were pressing down on them. Countless bones in their bodies were broken, and they were sent flying. Everywhere they passed, the void shattered. All! 3 screams were heard as the 3 of them crashed into Liang Kun and the others. Pung! The 3 of them were caught by countless warriors. However, they discovered that the 3 of them were severely injured. Their eyes were filled with fear. What? This brat was too arrogant. He actually dared to act so brazenly in the Moonflower Castle. Everyone was discussing animatedly. Zhao Jirua and the others gasped. Young Master Qianshan, Teng Kun, and the others had gloomy looks in their eyes. However, at this moment, Teng Kun sneered. Originally, I wanted to do it myself. But now, it seems that I don't need to do it. You've broken the rules here, so you'll definitely die. Liang Kun looked at Lin Xian with a cold gaze that was as sharp as a blade. Too stupid! Young Master Qianshan shook his head with disdain. The young geniuses behind them sneered. The eldest and third young masters of the Ting family also sneered in disdain. Idiot, let's see how you'll die later. Yan Ryu's beautiful eyes flickered and were extremely deep. She looked at Lin Xian with an inexplicable aura in her eyes. Is that so? Do you think you can predict everything? Hearing the other party's words, Lin Xian smiled. All right, let's see if I'm the one who will be killed today or you. As he said that, he took a step forward and grabbed at the front again. His palm transformed into a terrifying golden lion that pounced forward. Fearless Lion Seal. Under the effect of Lin Xian's great dragon sword soul, the war tribe's great divine ability was displayed to perfection. Light flickered in the sky, and terrifying energy surged. A golden lion descended from the sky like a golden Buddha that could suppress everything. That power made even the mighty figures tremble in fear. You're courting death. Seeing this, Teng Kun roared angrily, and his eyes were filled with anger. His opponent actually dared to attack him. He really could not tolerate it. In the end, he did not make a move and instantly disappeared on the spot. Boom! The golden lion pounced down with its claw, tearing the void apart and creating a large black crack. However, it did not injure Teng Kun. Nevertheless, the terrifying energy shockwave caused many martial artists behind Teng Kun to vomit blood. Young Master Qian Shan, the eldest and third young masters of the Teng family, were also affected. Buzz! They quickly defended, and a bright light screen lit up in front of them, blocking the energy shockwave. What divine ability is that? It's too terrifying. Sensing the power of the golden lion, everyone's expression changed. Young Master Qian Shan and the eldest young master of the Teng family also had gloomy expressions. They did not expect the other party to be so powerful. In the void, Teng Kun's figure also appeared. Brat, you've completely angered me. Later, I'll definitely torture you to death. Torture my ass. Ben Wang has long disliked you. At this moment, the Crimson Dragon also came out of the black earth. It landed beside Lin Xian, waved its dragon claws, pointed at the void above, and said ferociously, Damn it, come over here if you dare. Ben Wang will roast you and eat you. To be honest, he was really angry. The other party was only an ordinary prodigy, yet he dared to be arrogant in front of them. Had he repeatedly threatened to kill him? How could the Crimson Dragon tolerate that? Therefore, at this moment, he naturally had to counterattack. Humph! Where did this snake come from? How dare it be so presumptuous here? Teng Kun's face was gloomy. Being threatened by a snake was like a slap to his face. Therefore, in the next moment, a terrifying pressure rose from his body. Although he could not attack, using his pressure to kill the other party should not be against the rules here. Boom! 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 The invisible pressure enveloped the Crimson Dragon. Even an ordinary mighty figure would not be able to withstand it. The Crimson Dragon sneered disdainfully. He was a dragon, and the pressure of the Dragon Clan was even more terrifying than that of a peerless mighty figure. How dare the other party compete with me in terms of pressure? What an idiot! Therefore, in the next moment, he snorted coldly, and his body also emitted a terrifying dragon pressure. Boom! Boom! The other party's pressure was instantly shattered. Not only that, the terrifying dragon pressure surged directly towards Teng Kun. Attack! Teng Kun left his original spot and appeared in another direction. However, his complexion turned incomparably ugly. How dare you attack me? Teng Kun gritted his teeth. Since when did a snake dare to be rude to me? The Crimson Dragon snorted coldly. So what if I attack you? Ben Wang will test you. Besides, you're the F*King Snake. I'm a dragon. Do you know? Dragon? Hearing this, everyone frowned. They were extremely puzzled because the pressure that the other party had emitted was too terrifying. There was indeed a trace of dragon pressure. Chapter 2304. However, they did not think that the Crimson Dragon was a real dragon. After all, no one had ever seen a real dragon. In their opinion, The Crimson Dragon might be a horned dragon with the bloodline of the dragons or some other rare species. But even so, it was still shocking enough. Teng Kun's face was also gloomy. He sneered. A horned dragon? Fine. I'll roast you and have a taste of what a horned dragon tastes like. What? You want to eat Ben Wang? The Crimson Dragon was furious. Ben Wang will spit all over your face. As it said that, it opened its mouth and spat in front of it. The saliva that filled the sky turned into a Milky Way and swept forward. It was terrifying as it enveloped the entire sky. Puff! Teng Kun did not have anywhere to flash this time, so he was sprayed all over his face and clothes. The saliva was extremely smelly, and had a strange smell. Teng Kun's face immediately turned as black as the bottom of a pot. Below, Xiaolinger and the others laughed because the scene was too comical. Many people in the crowd could not help but laugh. But soon, they couldn't laugh anymore. This was because Teng Kun's body was emitting a terrifying killing intent that pierced through the void like a god of death. Black holes appeared in the sky one after another. It was terrifying, as if the world was about to be destroyed. That aura made the scalps of tens of millions of martial artists go numb. Damned reptile, you're courting death. Teng Kun was furious. Why? You're not convinced? You're unhappy? Go ahead and attack. See if Ben Huang won't slap you to death. The Crimson Dragon was extremely arrogant, like an old monster that had no scruples. Humph! Lin Xian also sneered. It just so happens that there are some things that I can't say, so I can let the Crimson Dragon do it. This time, the other party would probably be angered to death. Look at how skinny you are. You probably won't have much meat even if I beat you up. How about this, you can be my pet. The Crimson Dragon waved its claws. Be my human pet and serve Ben Wang well. If you serve me well, Ben Wang can teach you one or two great abilities of the dragons. Puff! Hearing this, Teng Kun was so angry that he almost vomited blood. Apart from him, the Teng family's eldest young master and third young master were also driven mad. The third young master was relatively young, only 18 or 19 years old. He was young and full of vigor. How could he endure such humiliation? Therefore, in the next moment, he roared, "Damn it, I'll definitely kill you!" He really couldn't hold it in anymore. One! The energy in his body suddenly erupted like a volcano, sweeping out in all directions. The entire sky was like a piece of cloth, rustling as cracks appeared in countless places. As soon as this terrifying aura appeared, everyone's expression changed. That was because this power had actually reached the Almighty Realm. This was simply too shocking. It was worth noting that the Teng family's third young master was only 18 or 19 years old. Despite being so young, he could unleash the power of an almighty being. It was indeed shocking. He could be said to be a young genius. Not good. However, the expressions of Teng Kun, young master Qian Shan, and the others changed. Although the Teng family's third young master was formidable, he might not be able to resist his opponent. They wanted to save him. However, in the next moment, they were stunned. Another resplendent slap rang out between the heavens and the earth. Then, a figure was sent flying, smashing through the void. At this moment, everyone spat out mouthfuls of saliva. This was because the domineering third young master of the Teng family was sent flying, and his teeth were shattered all over the ground. His entire face was deformed. His body floated into the distance like a kite with a broken string. Lin Xian slowly put down his hand with a hint of disdain in his eyes. Shocked, extremely shocked. At this moment, the tens of millions of martial artists seemed to have been petrified. They realized that Lin Xian was really too valiant. His speed and power were so fast that they could not capture him at all. Even many of the older generation figures were extremely shocked. On the other hand, the Teng family's eldest young master and Teng Kun roared angrily. Their bodies swayed, and they instantly appeared in the distance. They helped the third young master up. The third young master's face was deformed, and his teeth were broken. Blood dyed his clothes red. Ah! The third young master roared, and his body emitted a dazzling light. In the next moment, his deformed face returned to normal. The teeth that had fallen out also grew back. "I'll kill you! I'll definitely kill you!" The third young master roared crazily like a mad beast. He had never suffered such a loss before. He was sent flying by a slap in public. If he did not take revenge, how could he live in the future? "Third brother, don't be impulsive." The Ting family's eldest young master held the third young master down. It was very disadvantageous for them to make a move in this situation. They had to endure it. Everything would be easy once they left the Moonflower Castle. "Big brother, second brother, don't worry about me. I'll definitely kill him." At this moment, the Ting family's third young master had a crazed look on his face. His eyes were red, and boundless flames appeared on his body, burning fiercely. At this moment, he was like a wild dog. "Brat, you forced me to do this. Today, I'll definitely kill you." The Ting family's third young master quickly formed a seal with his hands. Dense blood-red vein patterns appeared on his body, and a violent power instantly surged out. As soon as this power was released, the surrounding space instantly shattered. It could not withstand it at all. So powerful! His power had doubled. This must be the Ting family's secret technique. Everyone was shocked. This secret technique was too powerful. Sure enough, in the face of this energy shock wave, everyone turned pale and frantically retreated. In fact, there was even a vacuum in the field. In the field, only Lin Xian and the others stood calmly. Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing were peerless God-favored ones, so they were not afraid of the terrifying energy shock wave at all. Their bodies emitted a misty light screen that blocked all of the shock waves. "Whoosh! Brat, I'll kill you!" The Ting family's third young master roared furiously. He stomped his foot and broke the void as he charged over. He was as fast as lightning. He even pulled out a blood-red longsword. As soon as the sword was drawn, a sea of blood spread in the surroundings. Countless vengeful spirits appeared in the space as if they had turned into hell. The evil blood sword. This was a top-notch treasure sword. It was the Ting family's famous treasure sword. They did not expect it to be in the hands of the Ting family's third young master. Many people exclaimed. It was obvious that they had also heard of this sword's reputation. When the long sword was swung, a blood-red sword she appeared in the sky and slashed downward. In an instant, it enveloped Lin Xian. Buzz! Upon seeing this, Lin Xian scoffed. He swayed his feet and disappeared on the spot. Whoosh! He appeared in the void above the Ting family's third young master. What? So fast! The Ting family's third young master's scalp went numb. He did not expect his opponent to be faster than before. He could not believe it. After all, now that he had used a secret technique, his strength had doubled, and his speed had doubled as well. Even so, he could not keep up with his opponent's speed. How is this possible? Chapter 2305. Ah! Soon, he screamed in agony. This was because a foot had stepped on his back. The force directly broke his entire back. Countless muscles collapsed, and his bones were broken. Blood spurted out, and a huge force hit his body. Damn it! Block it! After the Ting family's third young master was enraged, a set of fiery red armor instantly appeared on his body. At the same time, countless red flames burned on the armor and turned into fire dragons that wrapped around Lin Xian, trying to burn him. Boom! However, everything was useless. The Ting family's third young master screamed in agony. The armor on his body shattered, and the sea of fire disappeared. Under this foot, he was like an ant that could not resist at all. Boom! He landed on the ground, and there was a shocking vibration. Countless runes lit up on the ground, forming a terrifying defensive formation. Otherwise, this attack could definitely penetrate the ground and create a 10,000-meter deep abyss. Ah! The Ting family's third young master screamed crazily. The foot was still on his body, making him unable to move at all. His 5 viscera and 6 bowels were all impacted. Seeing this, everyone was shocked and dumbfounded. The Teng family's eldest young master and Ting Kun roared, "Damn it! Let go of my third brother!" They were shocked and furious. They did not expect the other party to be so strong that he could instantly injure their third brother. The other party dared to be so heavy-handed. This was unbearable for them. "You want to save him? Sure, kneel down and count out to me 10 times, and I'll spare his life. You're courting death." The eldest young master and Ting Kun's faces darkened. Lin Xian scoffed coldly. "You only have one chance. Since you missed it, don't blame me." As he spoke, he exerted force with his foot, and an unparalleled force surged out, instantly crushing the Ting family's third young master's body. Boom! Countless blood mists filled the air and sprayed in all directions. The ground was instantly dyed red, and all the King Almighties in the surroundings were stunned. They could not believe it. What did this fella do? He actually killed the Teng family's third young master. Oh God, is he not afraid of the Teng family's revenge? Everyone went crazy. Because this scene was too shocking, they didn't dare to believe it. One had to know that fighting was not allowed in the Moonflower Palace. Lin Xian actually dared to fight here without any scruples. More importantly, he killed the Teng family's third young master. The Teng family was the invincible house of kings. It was extremely terrifying. The third young master of the Teng clan had a noble status, and almost no one dared to provoke them. In the past, a few top-notch mighty figures had set their eyes on the Teng family's third young master's treasure and wanted to secretly snatch it, but they were directly killed by the family's peerless powerhouses. Not only that, but they also directly destroyed the sects of these 3 top almighties, causing a huge commotion. At that time, this matter caused a stir in the Nine Li dynasty. Everyone knew about it. Therefore, from then on, almost nobody dared to offend the Teng family. Now, someone actually killed someone from the Teng family. He even killed the Teng family's third young master. Wasn't this poking a hole in the sky? They dared not imagine how the Teng family would react once they found out about this. More importantly, the other 2 young masters of the Teng family were here. "Damn brat, I'm going to kill you!" The Teng family's eldest young master and Ting Kun were furious. They roared crazily. Young Master Qian Shan and the others were also stunned. They did not expect that the other party would really dare to make a move. Boom! The Teng family's eldest young master roared, and his body emitted a terrifying light. His eyes pierced through the void and fixed on Lin Xian. In the next moment, a blue long saber appeared in his hand, and he slashed down. Boom! On the other side, multicolored light filled the sky, and Ting Kun's black hair danced wildly like a demon god. A black long spear appeared in his hand, and he directly stabbed forward. The sky instantly shattered. The 2 young geniuses of the Teng family finally could not hold it in anymore. They finally made a move. Boom, boom, boom! The void was instantly shattered, and terrifying energy instantly engulfed Lin Xian. The tens of millions of martial artists in the surroundings retreated frantically. They did not dare to imagine that someone would dare to ignore the rules of the Moonflower Castle and make a move here. Moreover, what shocked them even more was that the Moonflower Castle did not stop them this time. What were they trying to do? Could it be because of Lin Xian? These people did not know that their attention had long been attracted by the battle in front. Looking at the 2 terrifying attacks, the faces of Xiaolinger, Zhao Jiruo, and the others changed. Lin Xian, on the other hand, sneered. Buzz! He directly pulled out the ancient Dragon Abyss sword and slashed forward. Boom! In the sky, a sword light slashed out. Clang! In the next moment, the green long saber was broken in half. Not only that, but the eldest young master of the Ting family also vomited blood and retreated with a face full of shock. Buzz! The ancient Dragon Abyss sword was swung again and collided with the black long spear. The sound of metal colliding was like thunder, and it spread in all directions. Everyone's scalps went numb when they heard it. Ting Kun's pupils constricted in an instant. He felt a huge force coming from the long spear. It shook his arm until it went numb, and the chi and blood in his body surged. Damn it! How can the other party be so strong? He roared and wanted to counterattack again. However, something happened that shocked him. His black long spear, a top-grade treasure weapon, was broken in half in an instant. Boom! The terrifying force blasted on his body, and he kept vomiting blood. What? Everyone was stunned. In an instant, 2 top-grade treasures were broken, and 2 young geniuses were injured. Oh God, what kind of strength is this? They could not believe it. At this moment, everyone looked at Lin Xian with their scalps going numb. Even young Master Qianshan's face became gloomy. Yan Ryu's lips curled into a beautiful smile that was full of mystery. Damn brat, you're going too far. The eldest young master of the Teng family, and Ting Kun roared crazily. They stopped in their tracks, looking extremely disheveled. Nevertheless, they looked at each other and attacked again. This time, they took out 2 high-grade treasures. Not only that, but they also unleashed the power in their bodies to the extreme. Their bodies emitted a biting cold light like a sun. Boom! The eldest young master of the Teng family had a huge golden cauldron above his head. Thousands of golden auras hung down and imprisoned the entire sky. The golden cauldron was like an immemorial divine mountain that pressed down fiercely. The void shattered in an instant, and terrifying cracks spread toward Lin Xian. On the other side, Ting Kun pulled out a long sword. The sword she danced and formed a divine ring that shone in the air. Humph! Looking at the 2 attacks, Lin Xian sneered in disdain. He waved the ancient sword in his hand and walked forward like a sword god. Chapter 2306. When he swung his sword, heaven and earth trembled. Everyone in the main hall was terrified. They realized that their bodies were stiff, and the blood and power in their bodies seemed to be frozen. Moreover, the dazzling sword light in the sky made their bodies hurt as if they were being split apart. Boom! Boom! The ancient sword swept out and split the golden cauldron in half. The green long sword was also broken into pieces. The Teng family's eldest young master and Ting Kun vomited blood and were sent flying again. However, this time, Lin Xian did not let them go. He swayed his body and instantly arrived in front of them like a god fiend. At the same time, he slapped with his palm. With a crack, the Teng family's eldest young master was enveloped by the palm. Ah! The Teng family's eldest young master roared crazily, and a terrifying light surged from his body. A golden armor appeared. On top of that, a pagoda rushed out from his body and firmly protected him. Boom! Even so, it did not seem to be of much use. The pagoda's illusory image was smashed into pieces, and the armor on his body was also broken. Nevertheless, he took this opportunity to move his body horizontally. The terrifying palm wind swept across half of his body, causing his arm to be directly broken. Boom! The Ting family's eldest young master's body crashed into a pillar in the distance, causing the void to shake. Then, he fell to the ground and vomited blood. On the other side, Lin Xian swept out his right leg like a coiling dragon and aimed for Ting Kun. Damn it, get lost! Ting Kun threw away the broken sword in his hand and shouted as he punched with both fists. His terrifying fists were like mountains as they emitted a dazzling light. Boom! Next, he collided with the coiling dragon leg. With a bang, a terrifying tremor sounded in heaven and earth. Ting Kun screamed in pain as his arms were broken and he was sent flying. In an instant, the 2 of them were severely injured. They trembled, and their hair was disheveled. Everyone around them was stunned. None of the tens of millions of martial artists said a word. The scene was silent. Even the young masters and peerless geniuses from the major clans gasped. Is he really just a young man? Why do I feel that the gap between us is so huge? We, the geniuses, are like ants in his hands that can be easily crushed. Even the princes and saints of the sacred grounds can't do this. What? Do you still want revenge? Lin Xian looked into the distance with a hint of disdain. The Teng family's eldest young master and Ting Kun were so angry that they vomited blood. They were about to explode. But this time, they didn't dare to make a move. The other party was too strange. His strength far exceeded theirs, especially the sword in his hand, which was incomparably sharp. Even a top-grade treasure artifact could be split apart. They truly did not have the confidence to continue fighting with him. He was terrified. The young master of the Ting family was terrified. No one dared to believe it. If they had not seen it with their own eyes, they would not have believed it even if they were beaten to death. What a piece of trash! Seeing that the two of them did not dare to fight, Lin Xian snorted in disdain. Then, he looked around. Soon, he spotted young Master Qian Shan and the others. There were about a dozen of them, all of whom were young geniuses. They were all in cahoots with the Ting family. Previously, when Lin Xian had come over, these people had mocked him and even threatened him. Now, it was time to return the favor. Lin Xian stared at the three young men. The three of you were very arrogant before. Didn't you say that you wanted me to kneel and accept my death? Now say that again? Lin Xian looked ahead. The three young men trembled, and deep fear appeared in their eyes. What's wrong? You don't dare to say it now? A bunch of good-for-nothings. Lin Xian snorted in disdain. But do you think I'll let you go just because you don't dare to say it? Now do as you said. Kneel down and apologize to me, and I'll let you go. Otherwise, you'll end up like those good-for-nothings from the Teng family. Lin Xian's cold voice spread in all directions. Everyone's scalps went numb when they heard it. In the distance, the Teng family's eldest young master and Ting Kun, who were struggling to stand up, vomited large mouthfuls of blood. They were so angry that they almost fainted. The three young men who were being stared at turned pale. They regretted it very much. Why did they have such a bad mouth back then? Why did they stand up for themselves? Now that they were targeted by this devil, they would probably lose a layer of skin even if they did not die. Nevertheless, it was impossible for them to kneel in public. They could not afford to lose face, and their families could not afford to lose face. Among them, one of the young men gritted his teeth and roared, "Damn brat, don't be too arrogant. You're valiant, but don't forget that we're all young masters from big families. Could it be that you think you can contend against our family?" "That's right." The young man next to him also roared, "If you know what's good for you, hurry up and leave. Otherwise, when the people from our families arrive, you'll be dead." "Threaten me with our families? Do you think I'll be afraid?" Lin Xian sneered in disdain. Then, his body swayed, and he instantly appeared in front of the three young men. He raised his palm, which turned into the large hand of a green dragon, and slapped down hard. Bang! 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 The palm evolved in the sky and instantly enveloped the three young men. In an instant, a terrifying force slapped their faces and directly slapped them to the ground. Bang! A light flashed, and a terrifying airflow swept in all directions, causing the surrounding martial artists to retreat frantically. On the other hand, the three young men fell to the ground and kept twitching. "Ah! I'm going to kill you!" The first young man stood up from the back, and a bright light erupted from his body. "Damn it! You've gone too far!" The second young man also had a ferocious face. His eyes were bloodshot like a wild beast, and his body emitted a terrifying killing intent. "Everyone, join forces and kill him! I don't believe that he can fight all of us alone!" The third young man roared angrily. He wanted to call for everyone to attack together and kill the powerful enemy in front of him. "All right, let's see who dares to attack," Lin Xian sneered. He took a step forward, and a terrifying aura surged from his body. Countless sword chi surrounded him, making him look like a god of death. However, there were still people who could not help but want to attack. In particular, the eldest young master of the Teng family and Ting Kun at the back were surging secretly, ready to attack at any time. A chaotic battle was about to break out. However, at this moment, young Master Qian Shan shouted coldly, "Stop! Everyone stop!" Seeing young Master Qian Shan appear, those people stopped and looked over. Young Master Qian Shan said, "Everyone, please don't be impulsive. The rules of the Moonflower Castle are not so easy to break. Besides, there's no need for us to take this risk and show off for a while. Once we leave this place, everything will be different. There was a hint of reminder in his words. Therefore, after the surrounding geniuses heard this, they nodded slightly. Indeed, the devil in front of them was very terrifying. If they made a move, they might be killed. After all, the third young master of the Ting family was killed by the other party. The other party had no scruples. If they were killed, they would probably die in vain. If they left this place, they could gather the powerhouses of their clans. If it really did not work, they could also make a move without restraint. They did not believe that they could not kill the other party with all their strength. Chapter 2307. Therefore, these people did not take action. Lin Xian frowned and looked at young Master Qian Shan. This guy is quite sinister. He wants to unite all the clans and attack me after the banquet? If that's the case, there's nothing more to say. However, before Ting Qinshan made a move, young Master Qian Shan spoke again. This time, he looked at Ting Qinshan. Kid, let me give you a piece of advice. Don't be too arrogant. Don't think that you can do whatever you want just because you have the illusionary Flower Palace's support. Every single person here was a young master of a large family, a young genius. You can't afford to offend them. Especially the three geniuses of the Ting clan. How dare you kill one of them? Do you know that you have committed a heinous crime? A heinous crime? Is that so? Lin Xian sneered. So what? Are you going to punish me? Lin Xian looked at young Master Qian Shan. His eyes were like two divine swords that could pierce through everything. Young Master Qian Shan felt a great pressure when he felt Ting Qinshan's gaze. It was as if his body was going to be penetrated. Humph! He snorted and a terrifying power rose in his body to resist the gaze. He could not be afraid in front of so many people, let alone lose face. Of course, he could not attack Ting Qinshan. Therefore, he said loudly in the next moment, I must punish you, but I don't have to do it. Tingjia's experts will take you away after you leave the illusionary Flower Palace. Is that so? You still don't dare to attack? You are just a piece of trash. Do you think you are any different from them? Oh right, you are a more sinister piece of trash. Lin Xian sneered and said provocatively. Since you don't dare to attack, then get lost. Don't block my way. What? Everyone went crazy, not daring to believe their own ears. What did they see? What did they hear? The young man in front of them was scolding young Master Qian Shan and asking him to get lost. Heavens, they were not dreaming, were they? For a moment, everyone went crazy. Young Master Qian Shan's face darkened and a cold light appeared in his eyes. Ting Qinshan dared to scold him and ask him to get lost. This filled his heart with killing intent. If not for the rules of the Moonflower Castle, he dared to guarantee that the other party would already be a dead man. What kind of look is that? How dare you release your killing intent towards me? Lin Xian snorted coldly. His figure flickered and appeared in front of them in an instant. The azure dragon palm in his hand smashed down once more. This palm strike was too fast and too sudden. Everyone was stunned. They had never imagined that Lin Xian would dare to make a move on young Master Qian San. This was Qian Shan's city. Young Master Qian Shan was even more shocked. There was actually someone who dared to attack him in Qian Shan's city? Wasn't this purely courting death? Therefore, for a moment, he was also stunned. Boom! The azure dragon hand shone like the sun and the moon. It crushed the void and enveloped young Master Qian San. Sensing this terrifying aura, young Master Qian Shan finally regained his senses. In the next moment, he retreated rapidly. At the same time, countless rays of light rushed out of his body in an attempt to resist. However, he was only resisting in a hurry, while Lin Xian was prepared. This azure dragon palm contained the power of the great dragon sword soul, which was extremely terrifying. In a hurry, young Master Qian Shan could not block it at all. Therefore, in the next moment, the light curtain that he held up shattered, and the azure dragon palm slapped his face. Smack! The crisp sound of a slap was heard. Blood splattered in the air, and young Master Qianshan's body kept flying backward. Everyone was stunned. The tens of millions of martial artists' gazes followed young Master Qianshan's body into the distance. Then, with a bang, young Master Qianshan fell to the ground. Ah! Damn brat! Young Master Qianshan stood up and roared crazily. His body was filled with a terrifying aura like tens of thousands of sword lights that pierced through the 9 heavens and 10 lands. His cold eyes were filled with biting cold killing intent. His eyes were red, and the temperature of the entire space instantly dropped as if they had returned to the world of ice. He was crazy, he was really crazy. He did not expect that someone would dare to attack him. Moreover, it was his face that was slapped. Was he courting death? He was young Master Qianshan, and this was Qianshan City. As long as he gave the order, countless experts would rush over. Who dared to be rude to him? In Qianshan City, he was the king. No matter how strong the enemy was, they had to lie down. But now, the young man in front of him was so arrogant. Not only did he confront him in public, but he even slapped him in the face. He could not stand it. Humph! However, Lin Xian did not seem to want to let him go. After the successful attack, his body swayed, and he appeared in front of young Master Qianshan again. The azure dragon palm in his hand slapped down mercilessly. The azure dragon palm shone with divine light like a dragon's head, and it let out a piercing roar. It shattered the entire void. Tens of millions of martial artists' blood boiled, and some of them could not help but want to kneel down. There was nothing he could do about it. This palm strike was simply too terrifying. Damn it! Young Master Qianshan's pupils constricted. He did not expect that Su Mo would dare to attack him again. Moreover, Su Mo's speed was far beyond his imagination. He roared and resisted with all his strength because he could not afford to be slapped in the face again. Otherwise, he would not be able to establish himself in Qianshan City in the future. Buzz! Young Master Qianshan opened his mouth and spat out a round bead. It instantly enlarged in the air like a mountain, blocking in front of him to block Su Mo's attack. Boom! The azure dragon palm slapped the red bead, and a dazzling light burst out. Terrifying energy swept in all directions. The King Almighties and the surroundings screamed. Many of them vomited blood and were sent flying. Their faces were pale. That attack was too terrifying. It was far beyond everyone's imagination. Crack! 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 However, to everyone's horror, the red bead in front of them was covered with countless cracks. Then, it collapsed and turned into pieces. The azure dragon hand, carrying boundless sword chi, fiercely slapped down. Smack! The palm slapped young Master Qianshan's face again, causing his face to be completely deformed. Puff! Young Master Qianshan's teeth were broken, and he was sent flying while vomiting blood. This time, he crashed into a pillar on the left, causing heaven and earth to shake. The terrifying void was shattered. Ah! Damn brat! I'm going to kill you! I'm going to kill you! Young Master Qianshan roared crazily. Endless light burst out from his body, causing his deformed face to return to normal. His teeth also grew out. At his level, as long as his soul was not destroyed or his body was seriously injured, he could recover. However, he could not tolerate being slapped in the face in front of everyone. Su Mo had not only slapped his face, but he had slapped it twice. This made him so angry that he vomited blood. He swore that he would kill Su Mo to relieve the hatred in his heart. Chapter 2308. Not only did the other party hit his face, but he did it twice. This made him so angry that he wanted to vomit blood. He swore that he would kill the other party to relieve the hatred in his heart. Today, I will completely offend the Moonflower Palace. I will cut you down with my saber. Young Master Qianshan was really angry. He didn't hesitate to break the rules and attack. If the Moonflower Palace wanted to blame him, he would use the power of the city lord mansion to fight against them. If he couldn't win, he would fight to the death. But today, he had to take revenge. In the field, the ones who were still calm were Yan Ryu and Murong Qingqing. These two stunning beauties had faint smiles on their faces. They were very calm. On the other hand, Zhao Jiro and Xiao Linger, who were at the side, opened their beautiful eyes wide, and their cherry-like mouths were truly very big. They were really stunned. Xiao Kuang's face was also full of shock. To be honest, he usually thought that he was very arrogant and didn't put the world in his eyes. But now, he found that compared to Lin Xian, his arrogance was too gentle. At least he didn't dare to break the rules of the Moonflower Palace, and he didn't dare to become enemies with so many young geniuses of the big clans. Among them, there were top geniuses like young Master Qiansen from the Tang family. Looking at Lin Xian's appearance, was he going to become enemies with the whole Qianshan domain? While everyone was still in shock, Lin Xian made his move again. The azure dragon hand kept slapping, turning into countless palm shadows in the sky, completely enveloping young Master Qiansan. At the same time, he sneered and said, "Stop talking nonsense. If you want to fight, hurry up and attack. If you don't want to fight, then get out of my way." His cold voice sounded, making everyone's scalp tingle. Arrogant, he was really too arrogant. They had never seen such an arrogant person. This was defying the heavens. "Ah!" Young Master Qianshan roared at the sky, his black hair fluttering. At the same time, he waved his fist, forming a terrifying fist shadow. It collided with the azure dragon hand that filled the sky. In an instant, the void shattered, and countless cracks appeared. Violent energy swept in all directions. Thunder Snake Saber. On young Master Qianshan's body, terrifying lightning formed a thunder armor, or else it would form a terrifying domain around him. A snake-shaped saber appeared in the void, and he grabbed it. Crack! Thunder and lightning exploded all over the sky, covering the entire sky. Boom! As the saber slashed down, 10,000 lightning bolts descended. The violent power made everyone hold their breaths. This was young Master Qiansan, who was very powerful. Even though the other party was young, he had already attained the strength of a top mighty being. It could be said that many of the older generation felt ashamed of their inferiority. Sure enough, when this saber slashed down, many martial artists were directly blasted to the ground by the shocking thunder, their bodies twitching. Humph! You want to fight me with just you alone? He really overestimated himself. Lin Xian coldly snorted, waving the ancient dragon source sword to attack again. The huge sword she turned into a true dragon in the sky and slashed down. It directly tore apart the sea of thunder that filled the sky. Clang! The thunder snake saber and the ancient dragon abyss sword clashed together, emitting the sound of metal colliding. However, in an instant, the thunder snake blade began to tremble before shattering into pieces. What? How could this be? Young Master Qianshan was so shocked that he couldn't believe it. His thunder snake blade was extremely terrifying, but at this moment, it had actually shattered. How was this possible? What kind of sword was that? Damn it! He roared again, and the endless sea of thunder rolled, once again forming a terrifying thunder snake blade. However, it was useless. Lin Xian used the wanton sky destroyer sword, and the terrifying sword chi ruthlessly descended. In the sky, countless sword chi descended, directly tearing apart the sea of thunder, and extinguishing all the aura. The thunder snake wild saber instantly collapsed. Poof! Young Master Qianshan's king's domain was also suppressed, and countless cracks appeared. Even the thunder battle armor on his body quickly bounced off. In an instant, countless sword wounds appeared on his body, and blood dyed his body red. Ah! Damn it! How could this be? I don't believe it! Young Master Qianshan roared crazily, his eyes filled with shock. He was a young genius. At such a young age, he already had the combat strength of a top mighty being. Other than those princes and saints, no one could suppress him. But now, he was actually beaten to the point that he could not fight back, and he was even injured. This was unacceptable to him. However, in the next moment, he roared crazily. Damn kid, this is between you and me! I'll definitely kill you! As he spoke, the aura on his body also changed. It was no longer a sea of thunder that filled the sky, but yin and yang qi. One black and one white qi surrounded his body. One of his eyes turned black while the other turned white. It was an extremely strange sight. A terrifying and mysterious power appeared on his body. In an instant, it enveloped the entire space. Seeing this scene, Lin Xian frowned. What kind of cultivation technique is this? It's so strange. The people around him screamed. The yin-yang technique was the cultivation technique of the yin-yang sect. That's right. Young Master Qian Shan was not only the young master of the city lord's mansion, but he was also a prodigy of the yin-yang sect. The yin-yang sect was an unparalleled sect. It was extremely terrifying. The yin-yang qi that was cultivated in the sect had a mysterious connection with heaven and earth. It could be said to be extremely terrifying. It seemed that young Master Qian Shan was really angry. Otherwise, he would not have used the yin-yang qi. It's over. That kid is probably dead meat. No one can withstand the yin-yang technique. The yin-yang sect? Lin Xian narrowed his eyes when he heard that. Naturally, he knew that in the middle ground, other than the 9 imperial dynasties, there were also unparalleled sections. The yin-yang sect was one of them. Its strength and status were equivalent to the sacred grounds of the eastern wilderness. Moreover, he knew that the yin-yang sect was not an ordinary unparalleled sect. It was an extremely terrifying one. That was because the yin and yang qi were the two origin energies of heaven and earth. One could imagine how confident and terrifying the yin-yang sect was if they dared to cultivate that cultivation technique. However, Lin Xian was not afraid. In fact, he was looking forward to it. That was because he had never fought anyone from the yin-yang sect. Let me see what's so special about the legendary yin-yang sect. Lin Xian snorted coldly and attacked again. You'll see. Not only that, but you'll also kneel at my feet. I'll make you beg for death. Young Master Qian Shan roared angrily, and the yin and yang qi on his body became even more terrifying. At that moment, he looked extremely strange. Half of his body was extremely pale, while the other half was as black as ink. The yin-yang saber. With a furious roar, the black and white qi on young Master Qian Shan's body surged out and formed 2 long sabers in front of him. One of them was as white as snow, while the other was as black as ink. They were the yin saber and the yang saber. Kill! Young Master Qian Shan held the yin saber in his hand and turned into a terrifying bolt of lightning as he charged forward. That was the yin-yang sect's grand theurgy. It was extremely terrifying. The yin and yang qi in the sky rolled over, and the terrifying saber light cut the entire space open. At that moment, young Master Qian Shan was like the god of death from hell. He was unstoppable. Be careful, kid! The Crimson Dragon reminded him. Lin Xian nodded slightly and narrowed his eyes. He was not in a hurry to attack. Instead, he sensed the sharp saber light in front of him. Then, he was surprised. Chapter 2309. The white saber should be the yang saber, which could absorb the vitality in his body. The black saber should be the yin saber, which could increase the death qi in his body. One could deprive vitality, and the other could increase the death qi. When used together, they could kill the enemy quickly. As expected of a peerless sect, their divine powers were indeed magical. Lin Xian's eyes lit up, but he was not afraid. In the next moment, he swung the ancient dragon abyss sword again, and the chaotic heaven destroyer sword flew out quickly. In the sky, the chaotic sword qi and the terrifying yin-yang saber collided, making an earth-shattering sound. The entire space was filled with incomparable light. Stop struggling. It's useless. You can't withstand my yin-yang saber. Young Master Qiansan sneered and charged at Su Hao like a demon. Is that so? Not necessarily. Lin Xian sneered and swung the ancient dragon abyss sword. The divine powers of the Yin-Yang sect were indeed powerful. If his opponent was a peerless mighty figure, Lin Xian would have to put in a lot of effort. However, his opponent was just an ordinary mighty figure. In that case, he could not pose a threat to him at all. As expected, when the ancient dragon abyss sword slashed down, the pair of yin-yang sabers in front of him instantly collapsed. They turned into countless yin-yang qi and scattered around. What? How was that possible? Young Master Qian-san was in disbelief. That was his powerful divine powers, the terrifying divine powers of the yin-yang sect. His opponent destroyed them with a single slash. He was going crazy. Damn it! Go to hell! Yin-yang life and death curse! Young Master Qianshan shouted angrily and formed a seal with his hands. Buzz! The black and white aura on his body spun quickly, forming runes that flickered in the air. That was also a terrifying divine powers of the yin-yang sect. Once touched, all vitality would be destroyed. There was no way to escape. It was extremely terrifying. Buzz! In the face of the powerful divine powers, Lin Xian did not do anything. He continued to fight with his sword. The chaotic Heaven Destroyer sword flew out quickly. Demon Seal! Terrifying sword chi surrounded it as if it could seal everything. It collided with the life and death runes in the sky. Suddenly, the sky was filled with light. The runes danced like waves. The tens of millions of martial artists around them exclaimed. Both of them were peerless geniuses. They were using divine powers. Unfortunately, in terms of combat strength, young Master Qian-san was too weak. Therefore, in an instant, the yin-yang life and death curse shattered. Is this the power of the yin-yang sect? That was all there was to it. Lin Xian sneered and stopped wasting time with the other party. Battle song. A terrifying sword chi slashed forward. In an instant, young Master Qian-san was enveloped. Ah! After young Master Qianshan was enraged, the yin and yang qi on his body vibrated rapidly, forming a yin-yang diagram to protect him. Boom! Boom! An intense collision sounded as the yin-yang diagram resisted the terrifying sword qi. But soon, countless cracks appeared on the yin-yang image before it split apart again. Young Master Qianshan spat out blood and was sent flying. Damn it, impossible! This was impossible! Qianshan didn't believe it at all. He was using the great divine abilities of the yin-yang sect. They were absolutely terrifying. However, he was unable to block his opponent's attack. This made him feel a sense of despair. Who was the other party? Could it be that he was really the holy son of some sect? Otherwise, it would not be so terrifying. The surrounding crowd was stunned. What? Even young Master Qianshan was defeated? Firmament? In that case, who else would be able to stop him? They dared not imagine. Lin Xian held the ancient sword and walked forward. Young Master Qianshan's eyelids twitched when he saw this. At this moment, two middle-aged men rushed out from the crowd. Kid, go to hell! These two were the elites of the city governor's mansion who were responsible for the safety of young Master Qianshan. They usually did not come out, but now that young Master Qianshan was threatened, they naturally could not help but take action. Whoosh! The middle-aged man in a yellow robe on the left waved his hand, and suddenly a sharp light flashed over. It was a flying sword. It was only the size of a palm, but it was extremely sharp. Wherever it passed, the void would quickly shatter. Nothing could stop it. It was a terrifying treasure. Whoosh! Lin Xian's body swayed and instantly disappeared on the spot. The flying sword only hit his afterimage. However, the flying sword was very intelligent. After missing its target, it drew an arc in the air and attacked Lin Xian again. It was useless. It was the spirit-guiding sword. It would not stop until one of them died. Go to hell, brat! The middle-aged man in a yellow robe sneered. Fight to the death? You think too highly of yourself. Lin Xian snorted. Looking at the flying sword again, he did not dodge and directly swung his sword. Clang! An earth-shattering sound was heard. The ancient dragon abyss sword struck the flying sword. Suddenly, countless cracks appeared on the flying sword. Then, it collapsed and turned into countless fragments. What? How could this be? The middle-aged man's face changed drastically. Bang! In the next moment, he was sent flying by the azure dragon palm. He spat out blood and crashed into the distance. Damn it! The other middle-aged man in a red robe also roared. He held the Fontion halberd in his hand and looked very heroic. When the attack landed, it was as if dark clouds were pressing down on the 9 heavens. The terrifying power sent chills down everyone's spines. Buzz! Lin Xian reached out his palm. Black flames burned fiercely, forming a black flame palm that directly grabbed the Fontion halberd. Then, he shook it forcefully. Boom! The middle-aged man in a red robe was sent flying. His arms were directly broken. Horror, infinite horror! The young man in front of them was too powerful. They could not contend with him at all. In front of them, Lin Xian held the Fontion halberd and swung it forcefully. Whoosh whoosh whoosh! The Fontion halberd dodged and flew directly toward young Master Qiansan. No! The two middle-aged men screamed. Young Master Qiansan was also terrified. He gritted his teeth and once again condensed the yin-yang qi in his body to form a yin-yang bell that enveloped him. Clang! The yin-yang bell shattered, but it blocked the Fontion halberd. However, the powerful impact still landed on his body. More than half of the bones in his body were broken. His entire body was sent flying again. For a moment, the scene was incomparably silent. The eldest young master of the Tang family, the second young master, and young Master Qianshan were all seriously injured. The other young geniuses. They were also affected. However, Lin Xian did not stop. He turned his head again and stared at the group of people who had gone against him previously. You and you? Get over here and die. Those who were stared at by Lin Xian trembled. A few of them looked uglier than crying, while the others gritted their teeth and roared. Damn it, I'm from the Wang family. I'm from the 6th king's residence. If you dare to touch me, you're dead meat. Angry roars sounded one after another. Lin Xian sneered disdainfully when he heard that. He slapped them. Pfft! Those young men in white spat out large mouthfuls of blood. Their bodies were badly mutilated. So what if you're from the 6th king's residence? Even if the 6th king comes in person, I'll still kill him if he dares to provoke me. Everyone was about to go crazy when they heard that. Who is this person? How dare he look down on the 6th king? Is he trying to defy the heavens? Chapter 23:10. Bang! 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 Next, all the young geniuses who went against him were sent flying by Lin Xian. All of them were seriously injured. Many of their bones were broken, and their internal organs were also severely injured. The remaining tens of millions of martial artists' minds were blank. They knew that today's matter was definitely serious. If word got out, it would probably shock the entire Nine Li dynasty. Moreover, it was probably not over yet. These were all young masters of large families. Now that they were injured, how could the families behind them let it go? Sure enough, these people had already begun to secretly contact the forces of their own families. Especially the Tang family. Young Master Qianshan was gnashing his teeth. Young Master Qianshan had already used a secret method to contact the powerhouses of the city lord's residence, and was rushing over. The two young masters of the Ting family also contacted the powerhouses of their families nearby. As long as the other party left the Moonflower Palace, they promised to kill him in an instant. Seeing that those who went against him had already been beaten down, Lin Xian snorted coldly. His gaze turned again. Then, he stared at Yan Ryu. Seeing this scene, everyone was shocked. This kid, is he going to attack Yan Ryu? Feeling Lin Xian's gaze, Yan Ryu's expression did not change at all. Don't you think we've met before? Lin Xian spoke again. He really wanted to know if the other party was Zhao Shui or not. The corners of the surrounding people's mouths twitched. Damn, is this kid trying to worm his way into being friends with Yenryu? However, this method was too old-fashioned. Sure enough, Yenryu's gaze changed after hearing this. But soon, it calmed down again. It was like a stone sinking into the sea, causing only a few ripples. But soon, it disappeared. Seeing this scene, Lin Xian frowned. He had a feeling that the other party was Zhao Shui. But why didn't the other party acknowledge him? Could it be that there was a reason? He did not know, but he definitely wanted to find out. Therefore, Lin Xian walked forward. Buzz! However, just as he took 2 steps, 2 figures rushed out beside Yenryu. They were 2 young men. Their appearances were not impressive, and they did not emit any powerful auras. Previously, Lin Xian did not care at all. However, now that they had rushed out, it seemed like they were here to protect Yenryu. Lin Xian did not mind. He used the Azure Dragon Palm and slapped forward. Bang bang! 2 low voices sounded like muffled thunder. However, this time, Lin Xian exclaimed in surprise. This was because the 2 of them were not sent flying like the previous geniuses. Instead, they were fighting against each other. Although the 2 of them were trembling and their expressions changed, they still managed to resist the Azure Dragon Palm. This greatly surprised Lin Xian. It seemed that these 2 people were even more terrifying than the previous sky prides. However, these 2 people had concealed themselves too deeply. If he had not asked Yenryu, these 2 people probably would not have stood up. Where did he come from? How could he be so strong? The 2 young men were even more shocked, and fear appeared on their faces. They finally understood why the other party was able to send so many sky prides flying. This power was too terrifying. If it were not for their strong physiques, they would have been sent flying long ago. Even so, the blood in their bodies was churning, and their bones were trembling. Ha! In the next moment, the 2 of them roared angrily, and an unparalleled domineering aura surged from their bodies. They finally suppressed the trembling. Buzz! The 2 of them were like an iron wall, blocking Lin Xian's path. Kid, these 2 are not humans. At this moment, the Crimson Dragon sent a voice transmission. I can sense a demonic aura from them. Hearing that, Lin Xian narrowed his eyes in surprise. If they're not humans, could they be demons? Thinking of this, a dark golden light appeared in his eyes. Then, he looked forward. His pupils constricted because he saw the 2 people in front of him clearly with the heavenly secret god eyes. As expected, they're not humans. They were draped in human skin, and under the human skin, there were many scales. They're demons. One is a demon wolf, and the other is a demon fox. They're not ordinary demon beasts, but demons. The scales on their bodies are too terrifying. They're abnormally hard. No wonder. No wonder the 2 of them can resist my Azure Dragon Palm. The physique of a demon is much stronger than that of a human. What's going on? Why are the 2 demon powerhouses protecting Yenryu? He remembered that the Crimson Dragon had said that Yenryu also had a demonic aura. Could it be that Yenryu is also a demon? But why does she look exactly like Zhao Shui? Could it be that Zhao Shui was originally a demon? Lin Xian could not figure it out. He felt that there was a mystery about the other party that he could not see through. Therefore, he wanted to figure it out. In the next moment, he took a step forward, and the aura on his body suddenly erupted. Countless sword chi formed a wave of sword chi in front of him and surged forward. You're courting death. The 2 demon powerhouses were furious. Their eyes were red, but they did not reveal their true forms. Obviously, they were afraid of something. However, although they did not reveal their true forms, the strength of these 2 people could not be underestimated. Their strength had reached the level of a top-notch human mighty figure. Heh! With a cold shout, the demon wolf youth waved his hand. A green light flickered and formed a green mountain beside him. On the other side, the fox demon raised his hand and shot out a light screen. It seemed that the 2 of them did not dare to reveal too much of their abilities as demons. Instead, they imitated the abilities of humans. However, they could not block the sword chi at all. In an instant, the two of them were sent flying. There was no obstruction in front of him again. Lin Xian walked forward. However, at this moment, another 4 figures rushed out quickly. As soon as the 4 figures appeared, they instantly charged towards Lin Xian. This shocked everyone. Heavens, this Yen Ryu's background is indeed terrifying. Just these guards are too terrifying. Each of them is a top-notch mighty figure. Who exactly is this person who can bring so many guards with him? One had to know that young Master Qian Shan and the Ting family's young master did not bring so many people. Crack, crack, crack! Seeing another 4 people charging over and blocking the path, Lin Xian frowned. He snorted coldly and waved his sleeve. The sea god's eyes spread out. Buzz! Buzz, buzz! The entire space was frozen. Thick frost appeared on the bodies of the 4 top-notch mighty figures. They were frozen in midair and turned into 4 ice sculptures. What? They're frozen! 4 top-notch mighty figures are frozen in an instant. These people were about to go crazy. They did not dare to imagine what kind of method this was. The 4 frozen mighty figures could not resist at all. Not only were their bodies frozen, but the qi, blood, and spiritual power in their bodies were also frozen. Only a pair of frightened eyes could still move. Chapter 23:11. Not only were their bodies frozen, but their qi, blood, and spiritual power were also instantly frozen. Only a pair of terrified eyes could still move. Don't let your subordinates attack anymore. I have no ill intentions. Lin Xian looked at Yen Ryu. However, I feel that you look very similar to an old friend of mine. Is that so? Yen Ryu spoke. Her voice was very pleasant, but there was no emotion in it. The world was big, and there were as many people as the stars. It was not strange for 2 people to look similar. Young master, you have the wrong person. I am not an old friend. However, I feel that you are. Lin Xian's eyes flickered, and a dark golden light appeared in his eyes again. He wanted to see if there was anything else hidden under this human skin. This time, he heaved a sigh of relief. Because he realized that the beauty in front of him was different from the previous guards. Those people were demons in human skin. However, there were scales inside. Yen Ryu was human from the inside out, but there was a demon aura on her body. This caused Lin Xian to suspect that perhaps the other party had cultivated some kind of demonic cultivation method or abhijna, which was why he had such demonic aura. She was still human. Therefore, Lin Xian was even more certain that she was Zhao Shui. In front, Yen Ryu waved her hand, and the ice and snow quickly melted. The 4 powerhouses who were frozen were also rescued. Whoosh! They quickly came to Yen Ryu's side and looked forward with solemn expressions. What a terrifying method! The surrounding mighty warriors were shocked. Such a terrifying ice could instantly freeze a pinnacle mighty warrior. However, it was easily resolved by Yen Ryu. It seemed that this Yen Ryu was not only beautiful, but her strength was definitely terrifying. It seemed that she had already surpassed the top mighty. Could it be that she had reached the realm of a peerless mighty? They gasped. Lin Xian also narrowed his eyes. The other party was very strong, definitely not weaker than him. At this moment, Yen Ryu said softly, "The banquet is almost over. Let's go." With that, she turned around and walked into the distance. Whoosh! The crowd automatically moved aside. Beside her, there were 4 powerful cultivators protecting her. The 2 injured demon clan cultivators in the distance also flew over to Yen Ryu's side. Lin Xian didn't make a move. His eyes flickered and he said in a clear voice, "Fairy Yen, I think we will meet again." Since the other party was unwilling to acknowledge him, there was no need for him to lay all his cards on the table. Anyway, he already knew Yen Ryu's name. Moreover, she was so famous. If he wanted to see her again, it would be very easy. Maybe. Yen Ryu didn't turn back. She led the group of people and quickly left. After Yen Ryu and the others left, everyone sighed. After all, she was such a beautiful woman. It was good to be able to take another look at her, Lin Xian returned to Murong Qingqing and the others. Today's harvest was quite bountiful. He saw two old friends. One was Yen Ryu, the other was Luoli. Among them, Luoli also told him a lot of information about hell and the nest of 10,000 dragons. This was very important to Lin Xian. Since he had already received the news, there was no need to stay here. Therefore, he prepared to leave. Murong Qingqing didn't have any objections. However, Zhao Jiro was a little worried. She said, "Junior brother Lin, are you sure you want to leave just like that?" Right now, the outside was probably filled with experts from the City Lord Mansion. If he went out now, he would probably be walking into a trap. What should he do? He couldn't stay here forever, right? Lin Xian smiled. That's not my personality. As he spoke, he pulled Murong Qingqing and took the lead to leave. Xiao Kuang, Linger, and the others also left. Zhao Jira sighed and shook her head helplessly. At the most, he could just use his identity as Murong Qingqing's Saintess. The City Lord Mansion's people wouldn't dare to mess around. Was this kid leaving? The tens of millions of cultivators in the surroundings saw Lin Xian and the others walking out. Immediately, their hearts were in their mouths. If he went out now, he would be courting death. As expected, young Master Qianshan, Tengkun, and the other young geniuses all revealed sinister smiles when they saw this scene. They had finally waited for this moment. As long as they chased the other party out, they could guarantee that the other party would be chopped into minced meat in an instant. Let's go. Young Master Qianshan, Tengkun, and the others stood up. They quickly swallowed pills to suppress the injuries in their bodies. At the same time, they walked out. Because they wanted to see the other party being killed with their own eyes. Only then could they vent the hatred in their hearts. Seeing young Master Qianshan and the others walking out, the King Realm experts in the surroundings exclaimed. They all moved out, wanting to watch the battle. After all, such an exciting thing might not happen even once in a few hundred years. And above the Moonflower Palace, a figure wearing a green veil walked out. She held onto the railing and looked down, her eyes flickering. Master, don't we need to do anything? There were a few women in red clothes around her. They asked respectfully. Luoli shook her head. No, with Brother Xian's strength, there's definitely no problem. However, the rules of the Moonflower Palace are not to be broken. This time, other than Brother Xian, kill everyone who attacked in the Moonflower Palace. Yes. Cold killing intent appeared in the eyes of the surrounding women in red. Outside the Moonflower Palace, the atmosphere was incomparably solemn. The place was filled with people. Some of them were experts from the City Lord's mansion, but of course, there were also experts from other families. They had all come after receiving the message from inside. Especially those people from the City Lord's mansion, all of them had grave expressions. Because someone actually dared to injure young Master Qianshan. This made them unable to believe it. In Qianshan City, there was still someone who dared to attack young Master Qianshan? Wasn't this courting death? If it wasn't for the fact that fighting was not allowed in the Moonflower Palace, they would have already charged in. But at this moment, they had already sealed off all the exits. As long as the other party dared to come out, they would instantly capture him. Soon, the door of the Moonflower Palace opened, and a group of people walked out. Seeing this scene, the experts outside all held their breaths. Their gazes were like sharp swords as they looked over. But soon they frowned. Because the person who came out was not the enemy they had imagined, but a woman. A beautiful woman. Beside her, there were a few figures with incomparably powerful auras. Feeling countless gazes looking over, the experts beside the woman all became nervous. Each of them emitted a terrifying pressure. They were ready to attack at any time. The beautiful woman waved her arm and stopped her subordinates. In the next moment, she took a step forward and walked forward. The experts behind her followed. Throughout the entire process, the experts from the City Lord's mansion and the elders of the other families did not make a move. Whiz! Soon, Yen Ryu and her group left through the air. After Yen Ryu, the figures inside came out from time to time. You're tuning into the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.